just a moment, you'll hear James Stewart as the six-shooter. There's music for you tomorrow evening with two of your favorite song stylists. First, it's the Dinah Shore Show, and then songs with Sinatra. There's laughter, too, in your Friday lineup with three comedy favorites. The Bob Hope Show with Bob's guest Jerry Colonna, the Phil Harris Alice Faye Show, and Can You Top This? It's a great Friday night program lineup, all of them heard only on NBC. James Stewart as the six-shooter. The man in the saddle is angular and long-legged. His skin is sun-dyed brown. The gun in his holster is gray steel and rainbow mother of pearl. Its handle unmarked. People call them both the six-shooter. The NBC Radio Network presents James Stewart as the six-shooter, a transcribed series of radio dramas based on the life of Britt Ponsett, the Texas plainsman who wandered through the Western Territories, leaving behind a trail of still remembered legends.
It was about 7 o'clock on a Saturday evening, and I was riding down the east trail that led from Kansas City over to Crown Ranch. It's been a real warm day. A little breeze was coming up now, and things were cooling off, a nice, comfortable twilight. I hadn't seen any signs of habitation for the last few miles. The soil was pretty thin and sandy. Probably wouldn't grow much. But a little further on, the ground turned brown, rich-looking. I noticed a frame house sitting back, 50 yards back from the trail. When I was almost even with the house, the front door opened and somebody came running out toward me.
Hey, mister! Would you hold up a minute, mister?
Young boy, it looked like, about 15, 16, wearing blue jeans and a checkered shirt and a little peaked cap pulled down over his ears. Whoa, Scar. Whoa, boy. Whoa, boy. Howdy, son. What can I do for you?
You come from town, mister?
That's right.
You didn't run across Friendly DeWitt on the trail, did you?
Friendly DeWitt?
You know him, don't you, mister? He runs the Traveling Mercantile.
How's that?
Oh, sure. We're too far out to get into town very much, so he brings around a wagon load of goods every once in a while. I just don't know what we'd do without him.
Well, don't stand out there all night jawing. Just find out about Friendly, like I told you.
The gentleman ain't seen him, ma'am.
Oh, shut up, Fern. You can wear something else if you have to. The supper dishes are waiting, Cindy Lou.
What was that she called you?
Cindy Lou?
But that's a girl's name. Oh. In this light here, the way you were dressed, I sort of thought maybe you were...
It don't matter. Thanks again, mister. So long.
So long. Cindy Lou. Well, I gave Scar a little touch of my heel. Let's go. Come on, boy. We started off. I figured I'd had about 8 miles to go before I'd reach the Crown Ranch. I hadn't been through this part of the country in quite a spell. But I was pretty certain Floyd Prince would remember me from the old days. He'd sign me on for the summer if he had an opening. Come on, Scar. Come on. It was about 15 minutes later, and I came to the fork in the trail. I saw a wagon rolling along from the south. It was some wagon, too. Almost twice the size of anything I'd ever run into before. And the way the canvas bulged out, it looked like it was loaded to the brim. Well, it stood to reason that this was the Traveling Mercantile that Cindy Lou had mentioned. Whoa, Scar. Whoa.
Whoa, Peggy, whoa. Easy now. Easy there. Howdy, friend.
Good evening. You're, Mr. DeWitt, I take it.
You take it right, sir, except for that Mr. part. Just call me Friendly, like the rest of the folks. A friend in need is a friend indeed. Something you needin', mister?
No.
Shoelaces, chewing tobacco, flour, salt, kitchen utensils, ammunition, yardage, zone equipment, anything at all. Just you name it, I got it, here in my wagon.
Yeah, it sounds like quite an assortment there.
Oh, that's only a part of it. I didn't even touch on my medical supplies.
Oh.
Old Doc Barstow's painkiller, Seth's simple all-purpose salve, Miss Jenny's bunion plasters and corn removers. You got any corns that's troubling you, mister? They're just a thing.
No, I don't do too much walking.
Oh. Some liniment, then.
No, thanks, just the same. I'm in pretty good health.
Well, what about wearing apparel? I got a full line of Levi's shirts, bandanas, cotton and wool socks.
No, I'm just not in the market for anything friendly. The only reason I stopped was to tell you that those folks down the trail were getting kind of anxious about you.
Folks down the trail?
Uh-huh. You know, the farmhouse a couple miles back there.
Well, I just can't imagine who you're talking about, mister. I ain't even headed that way. I'm making a delivery over the Davis Ranch near Evergreen. Davis girl's getting married tomorrow morning. I'm bringing all the paraphernalia for the wedding. You sure somebody in this neighborhood's looking for me?
They seem to be. I don't know the family's name exactly. The girl I bumped into is called Cindy Lou.
Well, that must be Cindy Lou Ames. But why would... Great yellow pumpkins. Hattie Ames. That dress she ordered for her daughter Fern. What time you make it out to be, mister? I ain't unpacked my shipment of alarm clocks yet.
Oh, it must be 7:30.
Well, maybe I can get there before they leave. If I don't, Hattie Ames will skin me alive. Giddy up, Teddy. Come on now. Come on, Francis. Come on. I knew there was something else. And I was working on that dress only this morning, too. Shortening the hem. So long, mister. Hope you enjoyed square dance.
Dance? What do you... Come on, Scar. Come on. Dance? What are you talking about?
Well, that's where you're heading, ain't it? The Crown Ranch?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, it is. But I didn't know about any dance or anything. I was going to ask Floyd Prince for a job.
You mean tell me you ain't heard about the celebration tonight?
No, not a word.
Well, it's account of Floyd Prince's son. He just come home from schooling back east.
Well, you mean Monty Prince?
Yeah, that's the boy's name. You know him, mister?
Oh, I used to. He was just a little shaver then. He's all grown up, huh?
Well, he must be 20 or so, somewheres along in there. I guess he'll be taking over the crown one of these days.
I see. Well, I reckon better put off my job hunting until some other time. I wouldn't want to bother Floyd and give him a party. I'll ride along with you for a spell, friendly.
Well, if you're an acquaintance of Floyd Prince's, I imagine you'll be more than welcome at his party. Practically everybody in the neighborhood's been invited.
Maybe so. But fact is, I'm not too good at square dancing. I don't know, but there's just something about my legs. A little too much of them, I reckon.
Well, I just hope you're the only absentee.
What do you mean?
Well, Hattie's daughter Fern. She was planning to wear this here dress her ma ordered from me.
Oh.
Yeah, like as not she's having a tantrum right now. She sure takes after Hattie.
She does, huh?
Yes, sir. And mind not delivering her outfit on time, well, there'll be real catastrophe. You see, Hattie's aiming to marry her Fern off to this young Monty Prince. And she'll probably manage it, too. Hattie usually gets her own way. Uh-oh. Look over there, mister. Buggy coming up the trail. That'll be Hattie and Fern on the way to the crown.
Yeah, I wouldn't be a bit surprised.
Well, it's too late to do anything about the dress now if they're started off. Yeah, the best thing for me to do is to stay out of sight. I'll get my wagon over here under these trees here. Easy, Francis, easy now.
But what do you... They're bound to see you sitting there.
Oh, you don't know Hattie Ames like I do.
What do you mean?
Why, she's as nearsighted as a buffalo. Can't see her hand in front of her face unless she's wearing her bifocals.
Oh.
And she won't be wearing them either. Not if she's heading for Shindig.
Well, what about the daughter?
Well, I told you, Fern takes after her mother. She's as blind as a bat without her spectacles.
I see.
Here they come. There. What did they tell you?
Oh, doggone. They never even glanced over toward us, did they?
No, not a glance. Well, I guess I might as well mosey over to the Davis Ranch. Nice meeting you, Mr.
No, I'm sorry, friendly. I meant to introduce myself. My name's Ponset, Britt Ponset.
Oh! Why, Mr. Ponset, I didn't recognize you.
Oh, no reason why you should, friendly. No reason you should.
Well, I heard so much about you. And that gun. Here, Mr. Ponset, here. I got me some samples of a new hair tonic. Smells real elegant, too. Maybe you'd like to try it. They say it'll grow fuzz on... Not that there's anything matter with your hair, you understand.
Well, my supply's kind of decreasing. A little tonic might be very handy.
All right, sir. Just a second now. I got it right back here. Yeah, here it is.
Thanks, friendly.
My pleasure, Mr. Ponset. My pleasure. Well,
Say, I just happened to think, what happened to the other daughter? Well, that buggy that just went by, there were only 2 women in it. Now, the girl I met back at the farm, she wasn't
Oh, you mean Cindy Lou? Well, she wouldn't be going to Prince's dance.
She wouldn't have.
No. You see, Hattie ain't got much use for her. Cindy ain't Hattie's real kin. She's just a stepdaughter.
Oh.
Yeah, Hattie and Fern, well, they just seem to go out of their way to make things miserable for her. Like this here dance, for instance. Everybody knows that Monty Prince and Cindy Lou used to be real friendly when they was kids. Well, she'd probably give her eye tooth to go to that party tonight, see him again, but, well...
It's too bad she can't.
Yeah, but there's nothing anybody can do about it. Why, she don't even have a dress to her name. You know, I've got a hunch she'd be real pretty if Hattie ever allowed her to fix herself up.
Well, she seemed a mighty nice-looking girl to me.
Yeah, sure is. Yeah.
What's the matter?
Why shouldn't Cindy Lou go to that dance tonight? With all the stuff in this wagon, I could fix her up so she'd be the prettiest girl there.
Well, maybe you could, friendly. Maybe you could.
It'd sure be a good trick to play on Hattie and Fern. Why, if they couldn't tell my wagon at 50 feet, they'd never know Cindy Lou when I got done with her. Come on, Mr. Poncet.
Why?
Well, a girl can't go to square dance all by herself. She's got to have an escort.
Oh, I suppose so, but... Oh, now, hold on, friendly. What, you don't mean me?
Well, you're a friend of the princess. You said so yourself.
Why, I'm old enough to be her...
If we don't hurry, Mr. Poncet, square dance will be all over. Come on. Step lively there, Francis. Come on there, Peggy. Let's go traveling. Come on, Mr. Poncet.
Don't understand, Mr. DeWitt. You mean you want to loan me a dress?
And all the trimmings, Cindy Lou. Before I get done with you, you'll be so dooted up that your own stepmother won't recognize you.
And you want to take me to the dance, Mr. Poncet?
Yeah, sure. That is, if you want to go. Yeah.
Well, that's right kindly of you both, but the fact is, I don't have no interest in attending the doings at the Crown.
Oh, you don't, huh? Well, in that case...
I don't know where you ever got such a notion, Mr. DeWitt. As if I cared anything about seeing Monty Prince again. Why, I haven't even thought of him since he went away to school. Not once.
Well, I reckon your stepsister Fern's done some thinking about him.
A lot of good it'll do her. Monty wouldn't look to... I mean, it's none of my business, one way or the other.
No, I guess it isn't. I'm sorry we bothered you. Let's go, friendly.
Okay, Mr. Poncet. Night, Cindy Lou.
Mr. DeWitt.
Was there something you wanted, Cindy?
I guess maybe I'm acting kind of ungrateful. I mean, well, you both did put yourself out for me, and it was real generous of you to do it. I don't suppose it would do me no harm to go to that square dance. For a little while, anyway. If you really want me to.
Well, now, that's more like it. Let's see now. The first thing we got to do is find a dress. You come on out to my wagon, Cindy. We'll pick something that'll make you look like a princess. Yes, sir, a real princess.
Well, I want to tell you, Friendly wasn't very far wrong. That's just exactly how Cindy Lou looked when she came out of that bedroom about half an hour later. And for a minute, we just stood there, just not saying a word, just staring at her.
Is something wrong? Don't I look good enough to go to the dance?
Good enough? Why, Cindy Lou, you're as pretty as a picture. Ain't you, Brett?
Why, she sure is. Well... If you're all ready, Cindy. Well...
There's just one thing. We forgot the shoes.
Shoes?
I don't have any party slippers of my own.
Oh. Well, you see, Cindy Lou, that's about the only item I don't stock in my wagon. I guess you can make do with the shoes you're wearing, can't you?
Oh, I don't see how. I mean, well, look at them yourself.
Yeah. No. No, wait. I am carrying one pair of fancy slippers. They're part of the Davis girls' wedding outfit.
Well?
No. I couldn't loan them to Cindy, though. I got to leave for the Davis ranch as soon as you two start off for the dance. I promised I'd be there first thing in the morning, and it's a good 8 hours drive in that wagon of mine.
Oh, I see, yeah.
Well, it was real nice of you both, anyhow. I'll never forget what you tried to do for me and how I felt when I put on this dress. how wonderful.
Now, hold on, Cindy. Hold on.
It's all right.
Just let me do some figuring here. Let's see. If I was to leave here by midnight, I could be at the Davis place along about 8 a.m. That ought to be early enough. Well, there ain't no reason why you both couldn't be back here before 12 o'clock, is there?
No reason at all.
Well, then I guess the next thing to do is to find out whether them slippers will fit or not. I'll bring them right in.
Well, I just don't know what to say, Mr. Ponce. Nothing like this has ever happened to me before. It all seems like something out of a storybook.
You know, Cindy, I was just thinking the same thing.
Well, here you are, Cindy. Try them on.
Gee, they sure do look small, don't they?
Yeah? You think you can make it?
Oh, I don't... Oh, there. Oh, it is kind of tight, but...
Well, try the other one. If you can get one on, the other ought to go, too.
There.
Good. Now, you going to be able to walk all right?
Oh, I'll be able to walk all right, Mr. DeWitt. The way I feel I could almost fly.
Well, then you better get started. You won't have too long to the dance, you know. And don't forget, Brett, you got to have her back here by midnight.
Don't worry, friendly. I won't forget.
You are listening to James Stewart as the Six-Shooter, the story of Britt Ponsett, the Texas plainsman whose name has become legend throughout the great Southwest. Now, Act 2 of the story called When the Shoe Doesn't Fit.
I hoisted Cindy Lou up on Scar, and she managed to seat herself in front of the saddle. I kind of held on to her to keep her from falling off, and we started off for the Crown Ranch. It took us about 45 minutes to get there, and that party was in full swing when we walked into the parlor.
Rope your cow and brand your calf. Bring your honey out and a half.
Floyd Prince came over to the door when he saw us and told me we're more than welcome. He's real nice considering I'd invited myself. I sort of managed to avoid mentioning Cindy Lou's name, and what with all the hubdub, Floyd didn't seem to notice that I hadn't introduced her properly. But Floyd's son, Monty, well, he didn't wait for any introduction. He just took one look at Cindy, and that was the last I saw of her. As far as I could tell, the other girls at the party were just completely out of the picture from then on. I waited until there was an intermission and the dancing, and then I moseyed over to the punch bowl.
Oh, can I help you, Mr. Ponce?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
I'm Mrs. Ames, Hattie Ames.
Oh, how do, Miss Ames?
Oh, Fern, over here, dear. I want you to meet somebody. This is my daughter, Fern, Mr. Ponce.
I'm pleased to meet you, Fern.
Well, speak up. Fern's sort of shy.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, that young lady that you brought to the party, she doesn't seem to be spending much time with you, does she? Oh, that's the trouble when a man brings a pretty girl to a dance. He's apt to find himself all alone. Fern, stop your fidgeting. Of course, now, some girls have character as well as looks.
All right,
I say.
grab your partners for the next dance. And I'll tell everybody going in.
Oh, my goodness. They're starting another dance. Now, Mr. Ponce, don't think that you have to ask my permission to dance with Fern. You just go right ahead.
Yes. Fern? Like I said, I'm not much of a square dancer, but there just didn't seem to be any way of turning Fern down. Well, I guess I should say there wasn't any way of turning her mother down. So, we did our best. Whoop. Sorry, Fern. As the evening wore on, it didn't look like she had any other part lined up. Well, I figured it was up to me to sort of fill in. Whoop. I sure didn't mean to kick you, Fern. There's one thing about her, though. She sure didn't talk a man to death. And somehow the time passed, and the next thing I knew, it was after 11 o'clock. Now, that meant Cindy and I had to be starting home, so I looked around for her, but she wasn't in sight. I excused myself for Fern and headed out the front porch. Yeah, Cindy was there all right, but the thing that surprised me was she was all alone. Looked like she'd been crying. Cindy.
Oh, Mr. Ponset.
What, are you all right?
Oh, I'm fine, just fine.
Where's Marty?
I don't know.
Well, maybe you'd better find him and say goodnight.
I never want to see him again. Not as long as I live.
Oh. Well, what happened? I thought you two were hitting off real good.
I thought so, too, at first. While we were inside dancing, everything was just wonderful. And then, all of a sudden, he started acting like he didn't care about me at all. Said he couldn't be spending all his time with one girl. He had to dance with some of the others.
Mm-hmm. Well, after all, the party is in his honor.
And that ain't all, Mr. Ponset. He didn't even know who I was.
Well, didn't you tell him?
Well, I thought sure he'd know. I never figured he'd forget me, not in just a few years.
Well, you've changed, Cindy, and the way you're all fixed up tonight.
Oh, that wouldn't matter. Not if Monty really liked me. I'd never forget him. I'd know him no matter how much he changed or how he dressed.
Well, all you had to do was just tell him who you were, you know.
No, I just couldn't. And you mustn't tell him either. You've got to promise me you won't. Now, please, Mr. Ponset.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what you want. Well, I think maybe we'd better leave.
Yeah. Well, I'm ready.
You got everything?
I guess so. Why?
I don't know. I just thought maybe you'd lost one of your slippers or...
My slippers? Whatever gave you that idea?
I don't know. I just sort of crossed my mind somehow. Never mind. I'll get Scott. Well, it just goes to show you that stories in real life don't work out the same way. Instead of falling in love, Cindy and Monty Prince were just far away as ever, and even farther. And there didn't seem to be any way of getting them together either. Leastways, he wasn't going to be able to do it by finding one of her slippers at the dance, that's for sure. As a matter of fact,
Cindy, you must not be trying. Well, you didn't have as much trouble getting them on.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. DeWitt. I'm doing my best. My feet must have swelled up from the dancing or something. The slippers...
Here, let me do it.
Oh, sure.
Why, they're just plain stuck fast.
I know. Maybe in the morning my feet will go back to normal. And then you...
Hey, look out the window there, friendly. Isn't that a buggy out there?
Holy smoke. Fern and Hattie. So long, Cindy. Bye, Britt.
Oh, wait a minute, friendly. I don't want them catching me here either.
But what about the slippers and the wedding tomorrow?
The bride's wearing a long dress, reaches clear down to the floor. She can get married in a bare feet if she has to.
Well, thanks for everything.
Good night, Cindy. I'm sorry things didn't work out better for you, but good night. Well, along about noontime the next day, I was in my hotel room washing up Sunday dinner. They were planning to serve fried chicken and corn fritters and apple pie. The Castle Hotel always put the food on family style, so I figured I'd better be real prompt or there wouldn't be any... Yeah? Yeah, come in. Oh, Marty. Oh, what are you doing in town?
I came to see you, Mr. Ponset.
Oh, is that so?
It's about that girl you brought out to the Crown last night.
Well, I sort of had the impression you weren't too interested in her.
Oh, I'm interested, all right. I wish I wasn't, but I am.
How's that?
Well, you see, Mr. Ponset, before I went back east, I was, I was real fond of another girl. Cindy Lou Ames, her name is.
Oh.
And we sort of promised that we'd wait for each other. But last night, that girl with you... Well, she sort of made me forget Cindy.
She did, huh?
For a while, anyway. And then I remembered, and I felt real bad because it didn't seem like I was being fair to Cindy. So I went inside and I left the other girl to herself. But doggone it, all night long I kept thinking about both girls, and they sort of got mixed up in my mind. I couldn't even keep them straight.
Uh-huh. Yeah. You've got quite a problem there, haven't you?
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Good morning, Mr. Ponset. I finally managed to get... Oh.
Cindy Lou.
Hello, Monty.
Golly, it's good to see you. I was hoping you'd be at the dance last night.
Were you?
You know, you haven't changed a bit.
No, I guess I haven't. They're in this paper bag, Mr. Ponset. Those things I borrowed last night.
Oh.
I thought maybe you could return them to Mr. DeWitt for me.
Well, I'm not sure I'll be running into him again, Cindy.
Here, Mr. Ponset. Now be careful. Don't drop... Oh, Mr. Ponset.
Oh, doggone it, Cindy. I just sort of slipped out of my fingers. Well, here, I'll put these party shoes back in the sack. There.
Well, goodbye, and thanks. Goodbye, Monty.
Cindy, wait a minute. Where'd you get those shoes?
I don't know what you mean.
Why, they're the same ones they're exactly the same. Cindy Lou, you were at the square dance last night. You and that other girl... Why, there wasn't any other girl. It was you. No wonder I couldn't get you straightened out in my...
What are you talking about?
Tell her, Mr. Ponset, what I told you just before she came in.
Well, I think maybe you better tell her yourself, Monty. As a matter of fact, I'm kind of anxious to get downstairs while there's still some fried chicken left, so...
Now, you listen to me,
you'll
Cindy.
excuse
I've
me,
been in love
Monty.
with you ever since I can remember.
I don't believe it.
Well, it's true. And it doesn't matter what kind of a dress you wear or how your hair is fixed or...
Well, there wasn't much point in my hanging around to see if Cindy and Monty would finally get together. There's only one way a story like this can end. I guess you know as well as I do. They were just bound to live happily ever after.
The Six Shooter is a transcribed NBC Radio Network production in association with Review Productions. It is written by Frank Burt and is based on a character created by him.
The Jack Benny Program. Quality of product is essential to continuing success. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. So round, so firm, so fully packed. So free and easy on the draw. LSMFT, LSMFT, LSMFT. Sure thing. That's right. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. From the Civic Opera House in Chicago, Illinois, the Lucky Strike program starring Jack Benny with Mary Livingston, Phil Harris, Dennis Day, Rochester, and yours truly, Don Wilson. And now, ladies and gentlemen, from Chicago, which is just a stone's throw from Waukegan, we bring you something that was thrown back, and here he is, Jack Benny.
Thank you. Hello again, this is Jack Benny talking, and Don, I'm very proud of this turnout here in Chicago. Why, this auditorium is packed. Do you know that there are 3,724 people sitting in the audience?
3,724 people? How do you know?
I counted them as they came through the door. I forgot the tickets were free. But that's all right. I'll get him at the soda fountain, yeah? Leave it to me.
Well, Jack, since we're broadcasting so close to Waukegan, I presume your father is in the audience.
Yes, he is, Don. He just got back from a trip to Florida, Havana, and Bermuda.
Oh, I thought your father spent most of his time at home.
And he used to, Don, but since he won the I Can't Stand Jack Benny contest, he's traveling. He's been all over, you know.
Now, wait a minute, Jack. I thought, according to the rules, your relatives weren't allowed to enter the I Can't Stand Jack Benny competition.
Don, when he heard about the contest, he disowned me. So it was perfectly legal.
Well, Jack, I'll bet you didn't get many contest letters from the people in Chicago. They seem to like you here.
They certainly do, Don. Did you see that reception I got at the station? Why, they tore the shirt right off of me. Of course, I don't blame them. After all, it isn't very often they get to see two movie stars at the same time.
Two movie stars?
Yeah, I have a picture of Charles Boyer tattooed on my chest.
You have? Oh, I don't believe it. Open your shirt.
All right. There.
Well, sure enough, Charles Boyer. Jack, what's the idea?
It's a little trick I use for close-ups, you see. When I raise my arms, he smiles. You'll be surprised how this tattoo of Boyer on my chest has helped me to... Oh, hello, Mary.
Hello, Jack. Hello, everybody.
Gee, Mary, you're certainly looking cute today. I haven't seen you since we got off the train. How about a great big kiss?
Okay, open your shirt.
He's for close-up, for heaven's sake.
Mary, you mean Jack showed you that picture of Boyer on his chest?
Oh, he shows it to everybody. Jack's got the only shirt that works like a Venetian blind.
Venetian blind. Mary, you're just jealous because of the big reception I got when I arrived in Chicago.
Big reception?
Yes, when the train pulled in there were thousands of people at the station. Mayor Kelly was there. There were flags flying.
And a big brass band, too.
Yes, sir, and it was all for me.
It was not. They were welcoming a carload of coal.
Oh, was that what it was?
You should have known when the band played, Keep the Home Fires Burning.
Yeah, I never thought of that. Anyway, Mary, here we are in Chicago. You know, this is known as the Windy City.
I know, Jack. Yesterday I saw you chasing your hare down the street.
It wasn't my hair I was chasing. It happened to be a cat.
A cat?
Yes, a cat.
Then why were you trying to coax it back with a saucer of Fit shampoo?
Mary, if you can't be nice to me, think of Boyer. And besides, there are a lot of my friends here from Waukegan.
Oh, that's right, Jack. Your hometown is close to Chicago, isn't it?
Close. Why, I could take a silver dollar out of my pocket and throw it as far as Waukegan.
Let me see you do it.
I will not. Throw a dollar. You tricked me into that once. The string broke. By the time I found it, inflation set in. It was only worth 63 cents. So don't try to...
Cheer up, Chicago. Your dim out is bad, but here comes Harris, that bright little lad. Yes. Turn on that switch and let me loose. Oh, that opera house. This is my bread and butter, Jackson.
A nice way over there. Hey, Phil, what do
Yes.
you want to come in with an entrance like that for? This dim out in Chicago is a serious thing.
You're not kidding, Jackson. It is. Last night, Frankie, my guitar player, wrote out a check, and it was so dark he signed somebody else's name.
What?
Now they got him charged with arson.
Arson? You mean forgery?
No, arson. That check was so hot it burned down the bank. Oh, Harris, you may not have bushy eyebrows, but you sure keep the country in an uproar.
Oh, fine, fine.
You know, Phil, if Frankie did a thing like that, he must have been drinking.
No. Libby, no, not my little Frankie. He's on the wagon. Why, he hasn't had a drink. That kid hasn't had a drink since
Since when?
Wait a minute, I'm looking at my watch.
That's what I thought. Phil, forget about Frankie. After all, we came to Chicago to do a show, so let's do it.
Yeah, good old Chicago. This is a great town, Jackson, but it's a little windy, isn't it?
Well, of course, that's why they call it the Windy City.
Yeah. Say, Jackson, what was that I saw you chasing yesterday?
Oh, that was a cat.
Then how come when you caught it, you shook it out and put it on your head?
I didn't put it on my head. It jumped up there.
Then why did it have bangs?
Because it jumped on backwards. It could happen to anybody. And, Mary, if I were you, I wouldn't be so smart just because we're away from home. You know, Marshall Field is not unlike the May Company. You know that, and it won't be much fun working in the dark, either.
Say, Jackson, I meant to ask you, how come they got this dim out here in Chicago?
Phil, don't you know what's going on? Don't you read the papers? It's the kind of the coal shortage.
Yeah, isn't it awful?
Huh? Oh, hello, Dennis. Anyway, Phil, as I was saying, it's very easy to understand. You have to have coal to make electricity.
Last night it was so dark I couldn't find my way back to the hotel.
You couldn't, eh? You see, Phil, coal is the fuel they burn in boilers.
3 times I fell over a fire plug.
That's too bad. Now, they burn the coal to heat the water into steam. And then...
Finally, an old lady had to help me across the street.
Really? Then they use the steam...
Used to be a Girl Scout.
Good. Then they use the steam to spin the turbines which generate the electricity.
Well, then how come we don't have a dim out in Los Angeles?
Well, out there we don't use coal. You see, we get our electricity from Boulder Dam.
Ooh, what he said.
Dennis, Boulder Dam is a place...
He said it again!
Oh, look, Dennis, I'm trying to explain something to Phil. Will you just be quiet until it's time for your song?
Okay, but I don't know if I'll be able to sing good. I'm tired.
Tired?
Yeah, I had an awful time on the train. It's tough trying to sleep between Mr. Harris and his guitar player.
Oh, you mean too crowded?
No, they kept setting the bottle on my stomach.
Oh.
And they were using my ear for an ashtray.
Oh, well, don't worry, Dennis. You can get plenty of sleep while we're here in Chicago. Now, let's have your song, and then we'll... Come in? Yes?
Well, here we are, Mr. Benny.
Huh?
Well, don't you remember? You invited us over. We're the quiz kids.
Oh, yes, the quiz kids. Look at that little one there. Take off your hats, kids. Take off your hats. Come right in. Come right, sit down and watch the show.
Watch the show? I thought you invited us over for a quiz contest.
A contest? You mean you kids want to compete with us? Don't be ridiculous. That would be like taking candy from a baby.
Oh, come now, Mr. Benny. You're not a baby.
That's not what I mean. When I gave you those 4 tickets, I merely wanted you to come over, enjoy the show, buy a few bottles of soda pop, and relax. That's all.
Oh, Jack, they're only kids. If they want a contest, let's give it to them.
But, Mary...
You can ask them easy questions.
What? Oh, sure. We'll play with them, have a lot of fun. Well, all right, kids, if that's what you want, we'll do it right after Dennis Day's song.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Benny.
You're welcome. Now, Dennis, we're ready for your song. What are you going to sing tonight?
Well, since this is Mother's Day, I'm going to sing Little Mother of Mine.
That's mighty nice, Dennis. And incidentally, you didn't forget to send your mother something, did you?
Oh, no, I sent her a big picture of me taken from the back.
From the back? Why in the world did you send her a picture like that?
Well, I wanted her to see how my new suit fits.
Oh.
She worries about things like that.
I know. Go ahead, let's have your song. While he's singing, I better think up some easy questions for the quiz kids, I think.
Sometimes in the hush of the evening hour, when shadows creep from the west, I think of the twilight songs you sang, and the boy you loved to rest. A wee little boy with a tousled head, that long, long ago was I wonder if I
that he was the lad you loved with your slumber song. The years have altered the form and the life, but the heart is unchanged by time. And still his only
Ladies and gentlemen, for our feature attraction, we are going to have a contest between the Lucky Strike Kids and the Quiz Kids. These children are here tonight to match wits with Mary Livingston, Don Wilson, Dennis Day, and Phil Harris, who are all raring to go.
We'll learn them, eh, fellas?
That gives you an idea, folks. Now, I, of course, will be the quiz master.
You'll be the quiz master?
Certainly. When I went to school, I was smart as a whip.
Go on. You even needed a blueprint to open your lunchbox.
Oh, stop, will you? Now, come on, let's get started with our questions. First, Hold it a minute. Hello?
Hello, Mr. Benny. This is Rochester.
I'm glad you called, Rochester. Does the manager of the hotel find a room for me?
That's why I called. You got the bridal suite.
The bridal suite? Good, good. Did you move all my stuff in?
No, I'm waiting for you to get here.
Why?
I want to carry you over the threshold.
Oh, stop being silly and get my clothes unpacked.
I can't do that, boss, until I shovel the rice out of the room.
Shovel the rice out? Who had that bridal suite before me?
Tommy Manville.
How do you know?
There's a lawyer and a minister still sitting here.
Oh, well, hurry up and get that room cleaned up.
Okay, but it'll take hours and hours.
Oh, Rochester, there couldn't be that much rice there.
There couldn't. When I sit down in the middle of the room, I look like a raisin.
Never mind that. Never mind. Unpack my clothes and lay out a clean shirt. I'm going to the Chez Paris tonight.
Okay, I'll give you the one with the cellophane front so Charles Boyer can see the floor show.
Good, good. Goodbye, Rochester.
Goodbye.
Oh, say, Rochester, did you do what I told you about the candles? You know, there's a dim out here.
Yes, sir. I went to the store and bought 85 of them.
85 candles? How'd you get that many?
When I told the man they were for you, he just handed them over and said, "Tell Mr. Benny happy birthday."
Well, that was very nice. Goodbye, Rochester.
Goodbye.
And now... And now, ladies and gentlemen, we're all set for the battle of wits. The Quiz Kids versus the Benny Kids. And may the best team win.
You mean may the better team win?
Yes, yes. Better. I used to know that when I went to school, too. All right, let's go. And now I'll call the roll. First, the Quiz Kids.
I'm
Harvey.
I'm Harvey Bennett Fishman. I'm 15 years old, and I'm a junior at the South Shore High School.
Now, Joel.
I'm Joel Kupperman. I'm 9 years old, and I am in 5A in the Bolton Public School.
Oh, yes, you're the little fellow who's so clever in mathematics. Tell me, Joel, if an egg costs 5 cents, how much would a 3-egg omelet cost?
15 cents.
That's right.
He's never been to the Chez Paris.
Mary, you mean they charge more there?
Boyer's going to bed early tonight.
is not, we can always go out for a walk. Now, Ruthie.
I'm Ruthie Duskin. I'm 11 years old, and I'm in the 8th grade at the University of Chicago Laboratory School.
Cute, isn't she? Now, Richard. Richard?
I am Richard Leixler. I'm 6 years old, and I am in 1A at the Shakespeare Public School.
6 years old. Gosh, it seems like... I wish you could see him, folks, the listeners. Gosh, it seems like only yesterday that I was 6.
Gee, Mr. Benny, that must have been about 30 years ago.
31, Richard, 31. Have a bottle of pop on me. And now for the Benny kid. Philip?
I'm Philip Harris. I live in Encino, California, and 3 nights a week I attend the Hollywood Recreation Pool Room.
What do you specialize in, Philip?
The 4-ball in the side pocket.
Very good, very good. And now, Mary.
I am Mary Livingston. I live in Beverly Hills, and I graduated from the May Company.
Oh, that's a lovely place. What did you learn there?
If you've worn the stockings, madam, you cannot exchange them.
Very good. Isn't she bright? Now, Donald.
I am Donald Wilson. I'm 6 years old, and I weigh 243 pounds.
He's the cutest one of all. What is your ambition, Donald?
I haven't any. That's why I'm so fat.
I thought so. Sit down, but easy. Now, Dennis.
I am Dennis. Dennis
Day. Dennis Day. How old are you, Dennis?
I'll be 1 in December.
You'll, Wait a minute. You'll be 1?
Yes, my mother's raffling me off.
Well, you're a turkey if I ever saw one. And now, folks, that you've met all the kiddies, we will proceed with the battle of wits. And for each question used, I will score 1 point for the side that answers correctly. And furthermore, I am personally awarding a prize of $10 to the winning team.
Well, that's fair enough.
You'll find out.
Mary. Now, our first question this evening comes from Mrs. Leonard Fenchel of Chicago. Listen carefully, Harvey. A coleoptera, a musca domestica, and a lepidoptera were having a bit of a tete-a-tete on a screen door. Now, if you suddenly appeared with a fly swatter, one of the party would leave quite hastily. Which one would it be? The coleoptera, the musca domestica, or the lepidoptera? Have you got the answer, Harvey?
Well, the musca domestica would leave because it's the common housefly.
Oh. I mean, very good, Harvey. That's 1 point for the quiz kid. Now, Dennis, in order to be absolutely fair, I'm going to ask you a question along the same line. Now, listen carefully. What fly would you associate with butter? That might be a little tough, so I'll put it this way. Butter is associated with what fly?
The butterfly.
Ruthie, I didn't ask you. Dennis, you didn't hear that answer, did you?
No, I've got ashes in my ear.
Oh. Mary Livingston.
The butterfly.
Correct. And there's a point for the Benny kids. Both sides are even.
Wait a minute, Mr. Benny.
Sorry, Harvey, but we won on a technicality. Now, let's see.
Oh, brother, wait till you get on their show.
Mary, please. Now, here's a problem of mathematics sent in by Clifford Gordon, 10th Street, Waukegan, Illinois.
Well, gee, Mr. Benny, if it's a problem in mathematics, just ask Joel Kupperman.
Oh. I have another question. From Julia Sinekin, Waukegan, Illinois. I think you can answer this, Ruthie.
I'm ready, Mr. Benny.
Now, this problem is in the field of ichthyology.
Ichthyology? What's that?
How do I know? Anyway, Ruthie, name the 5 types of fishes in order of their development and give examples of each. Go ahead.
The Seismostomata, which are lamprey eels and hagfishes. Next comes the elasmobranchi, the sharks and rays.
That's right.
Next, the gonoidii, which are the armored fishes.
Uh-huh.
After that come the teleostomi, the true fishes.
Yes.
And last of all, the dipnoi, which are the lung fishes.
Isn't that amazing? Very good, Ruthie. Now, Philip Harris,
Yes, sir.
I think it's only fair that I ask you the same type of question. How do you spell fish? Come on, Philip, go ahead. How do you spell fish?
F-I-S-C-H.
That's right. That's right, Joe Fish. I know him well. That's 2 points for the quiz kids and 2 points for the Benny kids. Now, Richard, here's a problem in mathematics that comes from Dave Wolf of Chicago.
Well, Mr. Benny, if it's a problem in mathematics, why don't you ask Joe Kupperman?
Harvey, don't tell me how to run my contest. I'm going to ask Richard. Now, Richard, 2 men who earn $450 and $150 a month, respectively, decide to build a house and divide the cost in proportion to their incomes. Each of these 2 men has 3 sons who help with the work, but they cannot work full time. One works every day, the second every other day, the third every third day, and so on. Are you following, Richard?
Yes, are you?
Don't worry about me, Bub. Now, they all work the first day, and they finish the house the second day. They all work together.
Each guy has 3 kids, huh?
Phil, go away, will you? You know from nothing. Now, Richard, one joint owner has to pay $1,500 more than the other. How much did the house cost, and how long did it take to build it? Well, Dennis, I see you got your hand up. What is the answer?
Butterfly.
Right, that's 3 for the Benny kids and 2
Wait
for...
a minute, Mr. Benny. We were on another question.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Well, Richard, have you got the answer yet? Richard?
Yes, sir. The house cost $3,000, and it would take 60 days to build it.
Excellent. $3,000 and 60 days is correct.
How do you know?
I trust Richard. Now, let's see.
Oh, Mr. Benny.
What is it, Dennis?
Button your shirt, Charles Boyer is peeping out.
Oh, yes. Well, Richard earned another point for the quiz kids, making it 3-3. Now, Mary, here's your question.
The answer is 15.
Wait till I ask you. Now, Mary, concentrate. If you had 20 apples and your mother took away 10 and gave you back 5, how many would you have?
15. You heard me.
How did you know I was going to ask you?
Boyer told me.
Now, cut that out. Boyer told you.
I told you to button your shirt.
Quiet. Now, here's a question for Donald Wilson. Donald. Oh, Don.
Hey, Fatty.
Yes? Thank you, Richard. Now, Donald, here's a question from Bert Scott of Salt Lake City. Now, Donald, if you were on your way to a drugstore and the drugstore was 2 miles away and you could make it in 17 minutes, but you had to cross a bridge, and on this particular day the bridge was washed out and you had to row a boat across the river.
How wide is the river?
350 feet. But there's a strong current carrying you downstream at the rate of 3.6 miles per hour. So it takes you an extra 23 minutes to reach the grocery store. Now, here's the question. What would you buy when you got there?
A package of Lucky Strikes.
Absolutely correct. Now, Donald, why would you buy that package of Lucky Strikes?
Because Lucky Strikes means fine tobacco.
Can you elaborate on that?
Yes, they're so round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw.
Very good elaborated. The score is now 5-3 in favor of the Benny kids. Now, Harvey, here's a question for you.
Well, if it's mathematics, ask Joe Kupperman.
I just changed it to history. Now, listen. What did the United States purchase from Denmark after World War I?
The Virgin Islands for $21 million.
You're wrong. It was $25 million.
It was $21 million.
The United States paid $25 million.
Jack ought to know they borrowed the money from him.
Certainly. I remember when I took Woodrow Wilson down into my vault. Now, another question in history. Dennis, who was the first president of the United States? Come on, Dennis. Who was the first president of the United States? Come on. George.
My name is Dennis.
I know. Now, who was the first president of the United States? He was the father of our country. George
Jessel.
No. Anyway, I'm asking Dennis.
My name is George.
It is now. All right, Phil, I'll ask you. Who was the first president of the United States? George. What do women do on Monday?
Washing?
That's right, George. Washing. There. What am I sticking out at you?
Your tongue.
Correct. George Washington. The score is 6-3 in favor of the Benny kids. We win, and the $10 bill goes to me.
Wait a minute. This is a frame-up.
Frame-up? These questions were on the up and up.
Well, you were cheating.
Oh, yeah? Well, it's a good thing Richard didn't say that. Believe me.
Oh, come on, kids. Let's go. Let's get out of here.
Wait a minute. How do you like that? A bunch of sore losers. Play, genius.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco, and in a cigarette, it's the tobacco that counts. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw. The famous tobacco auctioneers are on tonight's program. Mr. L.A. Speedriggs of Goldsboro, North Carolina. Mr. F.E. Boone of Lexington, Kentucky.
At 49 out of 49, American.
Russell Rysdale speaking for Lucky Strike. LSMFT, LSMFT, LSMFT. Yes, Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
Lady Esther presents the Screen Guild Players. The Lady Esther Screen Guild play tonight, Love Before Breakfast. The starring players...
This is Virginia Bruce.
This is Brian Donlevy. And this is David Bruce.
Tonight, Lady Esther presents the Screen Guild Players in Universal Pictures' comedy romance, Love Before Breakfast, based on Faith Baldwin's Spinster Dinner. It stars Brian Donlevy as Scott Miller, Virginia Bruce as Kay Colby, and David Bruce as Bill Wadsworth. The Lady Esther Screen Guild Players in Love Before Breakfast.
Hello, Johnson. Scott Miller. Buy me 10,000 National at the market. Right. Hello, Ash. I need some more insurance on the Dallas plant. Yeah, about $1 million again. Hello, Walters. I'm ready to listen to that deal of yours. Tomorrow morning, I'll give you 15 minutes. Right. Say, Dean.
Yes, sir?
Phone Miss Kay Colby and ask her to lunch with me, will you? And tell Mason I want to see him at once.
You want to see me, Scott?
Oh, yeah. Come in, Mason. Sit down. Yes.
Miss Colby is lunching with Mr. Wadsworth today.
Oh, well, then ask her to dine with me tonight. Tell her my favorite opera is on at the Met.
What opera shall I say, sir?
Well, don't ask me. Look it up in the paper. Now then, Mason, How about that report on William Wadsworth?
Well, I've got a lot of information, Scott. He's been working here for Amalgamated Oil. He's supposed to be engaged to Miss Kay Colby, but there's also a lady on 78th Street.
I get it. Yes.
Miss Colby is dining with Mr. Wadsworth tonight.
Thanks. Mason, do you think Wadsworth is in love with Kay?
I couldn't tell. He was with the other girl when I talked to him.
Oh.
He's mostly concerned about his job with Amalgamated. He's very anxious to get on.
Oh, he is, huh? Well, look, Mason, how do you feel about the Amalgamated deal?
Oh, quit kidding. That's not a deal. It's a steal.
Of course, though, if I bought in, I'd need a new assistant manager in China.
Why?
Why not? Doesn't that Wadsworth fellow want to get on?
But, Bill, why do you have to go to China? You were doing fine right here.
That's the oil business, Kay. If I want to get ahead, I've got to go where they send me.
But there's no money left in oil anyway. Rockefeller took it all out.
Oh, now listen, honey, that's no way to talk. I'll only be gone about 2 years.
2 years. Anything can happen in 2 years. Oh, please, Bill, don't go. We'll get along. We won't need very much.
But what about my future?
But I thought we were...
Well, our future, both of us. Well, that's what I meant. Oh, honestly, Kay, it won't be long. Just keep your chin up, that's all. Remember, when that boat pulls out, I want to see my baby smile.
I live and breathe if it isn't Kay Colby. You know, you'd be glad to see me if you had time to look.
Scott Miller, what are you doing here?
Oh, just seeing the Countess Campanella off. Lucky break, too, running into someone I, Say, when you cry, you don't fool around, do you?
I got mascara in my eye. And your hanky was...
Oh, sure, here.
I can't stand goodbyes. I can't even see anyone off on the subway. I'm afraid I've ruined your handkerchief.
Well, I'll have it framed. How's the eye now?
Oh, the eye's all right, but I've still got an awful lump in my throat.
Well, we could wash that down with a little hot coffee.
That's no idea.
That was an inspiration. How about it, Kay? Could you go for a sandwich?
Just coffee, please. Black and hot.
Mm-hmm. Still got that lump?
Yes, I still got that lump.
Well, at least you could do your grieving on your own time. After all, the Countess is gone, too.
And I'm sure you'll miss her. She's very lovely, except for that stupid little dog she carries.
Ming Chu? Why, he's a Pekingese.
The only time I ever saw a wrinkle with legs. By the way, where's the Count?
Where are the snows of yesteryear?
Where are the woodbine, Twiner?
That's where the Count is. Kay, have you really got it as bad as you think?
What does a lady do when she wants to change the subject?
Oh, it's a funny world, all right.
What's funny about it?
Well, the Countess wants to marry me. You want to marry Bill, and I want to marry you.
You never give up, do you?
Not me. Scott Miller of the Northwest Mounted. You know, I had quite a job getting the Countess off to Honolulu.
Is that as far as she's going?
Well, I thought Honolulu was far enough for her. My real problem was Bill.
Bill? What did you have to do with Bill's going to China?
Oh, Amalgamated Oil is a darn good investment. I've been planning to absorb it anyway.
Wait a minute. Are you trying to say you bought an oil company just to...
Why not? Bill had me stymied, didn't he?
So you sent him away just to have a clear field. Now, isn't that marvelous? You just push a button and move heaven and earth.
Oh, now, Kay, wait.
Yvonne Terrible in a blue serge suit.
Slow down, will you? I didn't realize
Let me tell you something, little Napoleon. This is one time your button pushing won't do you any good. Bill will be closer to me in China than you ever can be right here in New York. Where's my purse?
Oh, wait a minute, Kay. Now, the coffee.
You can take the coffee and drink it.
Good night.
Wait, Kay, don't go. Hey, wait a minute. Wait. Cabby, did you see a girl come running out of here?
Yeah, she took that hack up ahead.
All right, you keep that hack in sight and you got yourself a $20 tip. Come on, let's go.
Hey, guys, pipe that dish at the second table all alone, too.
Yeah, I saw her when she come in.
Here's where I go to work.
Don't you wish you could?
Dan, how much says I can?
$5?
Dig it out, I'll be back for it. Excuse me, miss.
Yes.
I was telling my friends you look sort of lonesome. How about a drink to the old alma mater?
Oh, you're a student?
I should say not. We're football players.
I'm afraid you're playing in the wrong league. The referee just called a foul.
Oh, come on, Toots, I crave companionship.
Well, you should join a sorority.
Be a sport. Well, yeah, I bet the fella's $5.
Excuse me, madam. Is this juvenile annoying you?
Not as much as some people I know.
That's telling him, sister.
Now, look, Sprout. Be a good scout and toddle back to your table, will you?
Scott Miller, will you please stop interfering in my affairs?
Oh, I didn't know this was an affair.
Madam, is this old geezer annoying you?
He most certainly is.
You heard him, mister. Maybe you better toddle back to your table.
Don't try to be funny.
Hey, guys.
What's up, Bob?
Somebody looking for trouble?
Yeah, and somebody's going to find it fast. Now get back to your table.
Wait a minute. Who do you think you're pushing? Why, I'm going to...
You asked for it. Come on, Kay. Out the side door. Here, follow me.
Scott, you ought to be ashamed.
Why? I thought it was a pretty good fight.
Well, your tactics are a trifle dirty.
Oh, I picked those up in the oil field.
Well, anyway, you've got a swell left hook.
You really think it's good?
Good. It's terrific. Just look at my eye.
Dear.
Well, Mother, darling, I don't think I'll eat this morning.
Now, darling, you know that... where did you get that eye?
Well, the blue one comes from your side of the family. The black one's a present from a gentleman friend.
Oh, c'est l'amour.
Okay. Yes, Anna?
These flowers used to come. Hey, bring them in.
Thank you, Anna. You can leave them.
Sure thing, Miss Kay. Oh, what a beautiful basket. And such an odd shape, too. Why, it's just like a...
Was that a bark? Well, it wasn't Gabriel's horn. Oh, he's inside the basket.
Oh, a Pekingese. Oh, yeah, you little darling. You.
Okay, who sent him? Aren't you going to look? Well, I don't have to. I know who sent him.
Oh, no, wait, here's the card. Why, it's from Scott Miller. It says, introducing Junior in his own doghouse, so maybe you'll let me out of mine. Oh, isn't that cute?
Yes, it's hilarious.
You know, I think Scott Miller is simply wonderful. You know, you could marry worse men, my dear.
Just name me 12. I wouldn't even talk to that goof. The next time I see him, I'll... Hello?
Hello, Kay. I just...
Abe, I'm sorry. Miss Colby, no come to phone. She been busy, you snot darling little dog.
Now, Kay,
But A got message, Mr. Miller. Miss Colby, you say the same to you. The one time I accept a date while Bill's away, and Stuart has to be 2 hours late.
Well, it's fashionable, Kay. Incidentally, what sort of costume is Stuart wearing to the ball?
No, I don't know. He said something about going as a fudge sundae.
Oh, fudge sundae. Oh, isn't that sweet? Yes. Oh, there he is now.
I'll go. Young man, it's about time you...
Hello.
Scott Miller, now what?
I've come to take you to the ball.
Well, I hope you can bear up under it. But I'm going to the ball with Stuart Farnham.
You don't say.
I do say. I tell you that I'm going with Stu.
How vulgar. Stu. Is that a name or a condition?
Don't try to be funny. Stu is his name.
Well, you know, that's strange. It also happens to be his condition. Hey, Stu, come here.
That's a great little party, all right. Having lots of fun.
Stu.
Another such and Skoda, honey. That's all I need. Just one little one.
Well, it seems to me that he's temporarily indisposed.
You did this, Scott. You got him drunk so he couldn't take me.
Now, Kay, all I did was suggest a drink. After he'd had about 16, I found he couldn't hold his liquor.
Well, Scott, isn't this going a little too far?
Well, I guess so. You know, I don't know what I'm going to do with me.
Well, I know what you can do with me. Get out of here and leave me alone.
Oh, don't be silly, Kay. Why can't I take you to the ball? Just take you there and bring you back.
I'd sooner go with a one-eyed weasel.
Oh, honest, I'm not going to even dance. Look, I'm in a dinner jacket. I'm not in costume.
Aren't you? I thought you were masquerading as a gentleman. Mother!
Yes, dear. What is it?
Will you phone downstairs and get me a cab? I'm going to the ball alone.
Mason, you really think you're right. Now, I haven't talked to Kay all evening.
That's the whole idea, Scott. I tell you, it's the only way to handle women. You know, sort of zig when they think you'll zag. That keeps them off balance.
Oh, that's when they fall in love, huh? When they're unbalanced?
How else? Now, you stay right out here on the terrace, and pretty soon she'll be running after you.
Oh. Say, Mason, how come you know so much about women?
I'm a bachelor.
Do you have a match? Why, Mr. Miller.
Did you want a light?
Thank you. I didn't know you were out here on the terrace, Scott.
I'm sure you didn't, or you wouldn't be here.
Oh, now, please don't get personal. I've been having such a wonderful time. Why not be nice and, well, amusing?
Well, should I make a funny face or tell a story?
Well, I know the face. I don't know the story.
Well, it's about a button pusher and a...
Pekingese?
No, definitely not a Pekingese. More of a bulldog.
A bulldog?
You see, this button pusher was pretty smug. Used to having his own way until the little bulldog came along.
Oh.
And he chased the little bulldog for a long time, but he didn't seem to be getting any place. And
maybe she didn't like his methods.
She didn't. But he couldn't change because he was an old button pusher and set in his ways.
And the bulldog was stubborn, too.
Yeah, that's it. Seems you do know the story.
Just parts of it. You didn't say that the bulldog was interested in someone else.
And still is?
And still is.
Well, then, there's nothing for the button pusher to do but take up his marbles and go home. I hope you have fun, Kay. Goodbye.
Men. Sometimes they do the darndest things.
The curtain falls on Act One of the Lady Esther Screen Guild Players. And now the lights go on. Do you welcome those bright lights, or would you rather sit in darkness, kind concealing darkness that hides little blemishes? If you want to be proud of your skin, if you want to look and feel radiantly attractive in any light, listen to this message from Lady Esther.
Every time I personally apply Lady Esther face cream to my skin, I think to myself, this cream is really wonderful. I've been making Lady Esther face cream and using it for more than 30 years, and it's still a thrill of pleasure to see the soft, young finish it gives my skin, the clarity and translucence on which face powder looks so beautiful. That's why I say to you, make the Lady Esther patch test. It will tell you more in half a minute than I could tell you in half a day. To make the patch test, you just rub a little Lady Esther face cream on one patch of skin like one cheek. Then you wipe it off. And with it, you wipe off all the dry flakes, all the dead, clinging particles nature is trying to throw off. Run your fingers over that cheek and feel the difference. Feel how smooth and silky it's become to your touch. Now powder that one cheek and see the difference. See how the dull, drab look is gone, how your skin has taken on a new, vibrant look. I do hope you'll make the patch test and see and feel this difference for yourself. Then you'll know why so many women call Lady Esther face cream the most beautifying cream they've ever used. You see, it does all these 4 things. 1, it thoroughly cleans your skin. 2, it softens your skin. 3, it helps nature refine the pores. And 4, it leaves a smooth, perfect base for powder. Remember, you can prove all this in just 30 seconds with the patch test. So go to your druggist now. Get a jar of Lady Esther 4-purpose face cream and make the patch test tonight.
Esther presents the second act of Love Before Breakfast, starring David Bruce as Bill Wadsworth, Virginia Bruce as Kay Colby, and Brian Donlevy as Scott Miller. The time is several weeks later now. Kay hasn't heard a single word from Scott. And it isn't as if she cared, of course, but, well, after all, she is a woman.
Hello. Hello, is this the telephone company?
Yes, ma'am. Can I help you, please?
My telephone is out of order. People can't get me. The phone doesn't ring.
Have you reported it, please?
Well, I'm reporting it now. It doesn't ring.
If you will hang up, I will try it, please.
All right. Well, it rang that time, but why doesn't anyone call me anymore?
I'm sorry, madam. Have you tried the Lady Esther patch test?
Now, don't get worried, Scott. It's working out fine. All you have to do is stay away from it.
And propose by mental telepathy? Now, look, Mason, about this last angle of yours, are you sure you're right?
I'm absolutely positive. That girl's in love with you, Scott. You've just got to give her enough rope to prove it.
Yes, Dean.
Miss Kay Colby is here to see you.
Kay? Here? Well, send her in. Thus beginneth the next lesson.
Scram you. Out the other door.
All right, but don't quit. Stick by your gun.
Scott?
Oh, hello, Kay. Come in.
I hate to barge in on you like this, but I'm selling these milk fund tickets, and I just happen to be in the neighborhood, so I...
Oh, is that all that brought you here?
Is that all? Well, I've got 200 left at $10 apiece.
Oh, 200. Miss Dean.
Yes, sir?
Make out a check for $2,000 and mail it to...
Metropolitan Charities.
You got it?
Yes, sir.
Well, that's that, Kay. Anything else?
No. Except I'm sorry I was out when you phoned last night.
Are you really?
Really, Scott?
Then it's too bad I didn't phone.
Oh. Well, that Anna. She makes the most ridiculous mistakes.
Oh, well, frankly, Kay, I did mean to call you.
Did you?
Yes, I wanted to tell you that Bill's coming home.
Coming home? Why?
Oh, why not?
You mean you're just handing him back to me?
Well, anyway, I'm willing to gamble.
I see. You think that I'll get tired of him. I'll realize I don't know my own mind.
Now, wait a minute, Kay.
Meet Kay Colby, the human guinea pig.
Now, wait a minute. I didn't
Still pushing buttons, aren't you? Still running the world. Well, let me tell you again. You're way off your base. When Bill gets home, I'll be the happiest girl in town. Good day.
Holy smoke. What a temper.
What happened, Scott?
Well, just as you told me, I stuck by my guns.
Yes, but what was all that noise?
They backfired.
Okay, you don't know what it means to be back. Are you as glad as I am, honey?
No. Remember me, Bill? I'm the girl you left behind.
The girl I'm going to celebrate with. Hey, waiter.
Yes, sir.
Bottle of champagne. Cordon Rouge, 26.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Oh, Bill, it's very expensive. Do you think we should?
I'll let you in on a secret, baby. Amalgamated just doubled my salary.
Doubled your salary? For what?
Hey, don't you think I'm worth it?
Oh, of course I do, but naturally you didn't accept it.
Accept? Hey, what's the matter with you?
Don't tell me you'd take anything from a man like Scott Miller.
Well, why not? He's my boss. Why are you so sore at him? He's been swell to me.
I know. Just wish you were working for someone else. Well, let's talk about him anymore. Let's talk about us.
Oh, yeah. We're going to have a swell weekend, Kay. Bob Metcalf's invited us out on his boat.
Oh, but I don't like boats.
But you know the Metcalfs. They're a million laughs.
I still don't like boats.
But, Kay,
Excuse me, sir. With Mr. Miller's compliments.
Bottle of champagne. Hey, I didn't know Scott was here.
I would have given you 6 to 1. Bill, I'm awfully tired. Let's go home.
But Scott sent us a bottle with his compliments.
We can send it back with our compliments.
Oh, now, Kay, he's my boss. You won't get anywhere by insulting him.
You're telling me.
Well, hello, you two. How's it going?
Fine, Mr. Miller. Hey, thanks for the wine. How about having a glass with us?
I'm sorry. I'm just waiting for Janie. We're on our way to the Larimore.
Oh, there you are, Scott. And Billy Lamb.
Hey.
Hello.
I believe you remember the Countess Kay.
Oh, yes. Countess, I didn't know you were back.
Oh, didn't Billy Lamb tell you? We were on the same boat.
Yes, Janie insisted that we stop by and say goodnight.
That's very kind of you. Good night.
You know, Billy Lamb is so amusing. I wish Scott would ask you both up to the country this weekend.
Well, I'd love to, Janie, if I thought they'd come.
Well, sure we will. We'd be delighted.
Bill, you're forgetting about the boat.
But I
No, it's this weekend, dear. Scott, it's so nice of you. Some other time?
Oh, sure. Well, come on, Jenny. We're late.
Good night. Good night, Billy Lamb.
Billy Lamb. No wonder you were so quick to grab his invitation.
But after all, Kay...
I know. He's your boss.
But, honey, you said you didn't like boats.
I don't.
Oh, it's too much for me. Maybe you were right before. Let's pay the check and go home.
Go home? What for? We just arrived.
But you said... I thought you... Oh, what's the use? I'm going to get drunk.
Bill, when you said a boat, I thought it was going to be a boat, not an oversized wooden shoe like this.
But you heard what the man at the dock said. The Metcalfs will pick us up out here in the big boat later.
Yes, but we've been anchored in this cove 5 hours now, and it's getting dark, and I'm hungry, and I'm thirsty, too.
Well, what do you think I am, a camel?
Sometimes I wonder.
Ahoy there! Pronto, ahoy!
That voice, it couldn't be...
Well, how are you, mates? What blows?
Scott Miller, what are you doing in this cove?
Well, it's a free cove, isn't it? My yacht is anchored off your starboard bow. Would you two like to come aboard for dinner?
Why, sure, we'd be glad to.
We'd be nothing of the sort.
Well, I thought there might be an argument, so I brought you over this hamper of food.
Well, you can just take it back.
Slow down, Kay. Much obliged, Mr. Miller.
Don't mention it, Bill. And look, you better make sure your ground tackle's fast. It looks like we're in for a bit of a storm.
You don't care a thing about me. I could just drown out here in this storm. All you care about is that food and that champagne.
And all you care about is Scott Miller.
Bill, don't be crazy.
You're the one who's crazy. You're crazy about him. So crazy you can't stand being anywhere near him.
Oh, don't be a fool.
Well, I don't intend to be. I've been a sap long enough. You're just using me to burn him up. Do you know what I'm going to do?
Sure, what you always do. You're going to get drunk. Bill, it's getting worse. Stop drinking and get us out of here.
Oh, listen, take it easy, Kay. We gotta wait for the Metcalf.
Bill, wake up. The water's coming in.
What's coming in?
Bill, we're liable to drown. You've got to sober up.
There's nothing to worry.
Bill, you fool. Somebody help us. Help! Help!
Ahoy there, Pronto.
Scott!
Stand by, Pronto. We're coming aboard. Going to take you two to the yacht.
Scott, darling, thank heaven you're here. Scott, you needn't think that... You needn't think just because you... I mean...
Just keep your mouth shut. Keep your feet in that mustard bath.
Who do you think you're talking to?
To an addle-brained idiot who hasn't got enough sense to come in out of the rain. Keep your feet in that tub.
It's too hot. I'm getting out.
You're staying in. If you were a man, I'd poke you right in the nose.
Wouldn't that be repeating yourself?
I should have hit you harder.
Stop yelling at me, you button pusher.
I'll yell at anyone I want. This is my boat, and what I say goes. Do you understand that? I can push every button on that wall. I can ring for the captain and make him marry us.
Oh, God.
Did you hear what I said? I can make him marry us.
Well, aren't you going to?
I said I could... What? Hey, wait a minute. Do you mean that?
I certainly do. But, Scott, you'll have to promise one thing.
Anything. What?
Well, when you ring for that captain, can I push the button?
Thank you, Virginia Bruce, Brian Donlevy, and David Bruce for appearing with the Lady Esther Screen Guild Players tonight. We are grateful for your fine performances. And now, before we tell you about next week's program, here's a word from one of America's best-known beauty authorities, Lady Esther.
Do you know exactly what happens when you apply Lady Esther All-Purpose Face Cream? I'll tell you. First, your skin is cleaned gently but thoroughly. Even the stubborn, deeply embedded dirt in the pore openings is eased out and wiped away. Second, Lady Esther Face Cream loosens and absorbs the dry, clinging flakes nature is trying to throw off. That's very important. And you'll see why when you apply your face powder. You'll see how much smoother, how much younger and lovelier your powder looks on your skin. Third, Lady Esther Face Cream helps nature refine the pores, helps the stretched pore openings return to normal. That makes your skin look much finer and more delicate. And fourth, Lady Esther Face Cream leaves a perfect base for powder and makeup, smooth as velvet, but not the least bit greasy or sticky. Remember, you can prove all this in just 30 seconds with the patch test. Just rub a little Lady Esther Face Cream on one cheek, wipe it off, and apply your powder. Then compare that side of your face with the other. See and feel the difference. You can still make the patch test tonight. Get a jar of Lady Esther Face Cream from your druggist now.
Next week, the Lady Esther Screen Guild Players will present No Time for Comedy. It will star Alexis Smith, Helen Vinson, and Jack Carson. Be sure to listen. Virginia Bruce can currently be seen in Brazil, the Republic production. Brian Donlevy appeared through the courtesy of Paramount Pictures, and David Bruce appeared through the courtesy of Universal Pictures. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Lux presents Hollywood. Lever Brothers Company, the makers of Lux Flakes, bring you the Lux Radio Theater. Proudly presenting Photoplay Magazine's Gold Medal Award picture, The Stratton Story, starring James Stewart and June Allison. Ladies and gentlemen, your producer, Mr. William Keeley.
Greetings from Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen. This is a very special evening in the Lux Radio Theater because we present the screenplay that you have chosen as your favorite for the year 1949. Tonight's play was selected by the moviegoers of America in a nationwide poll conducted by Photoplay Magazine. It's The Stratton Story. In The Stratton Story, you'll hear James Stewart and June Allison, the original stars of this Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer hit. It's the drama of one man's superhuman courage in the face of an overwhelming handicap. A true story of a real-life hero, Monty Stratton. After tonight's performance, the Stratton Story will receive Photoplay Magazine's coveted Gold Medal Award, one of Hollywood's highest honors. The vote of the American people is what counts, whether it's for a motion picture or a product. And Lux Flakes have been your choice for years, whenever housewives insisted on quality and economy. An award of confidence we know Lux Flakes will continue to win. Now here's the curtain for Act One of The Stratton Story, starring James Stewart as Monty Stratton and June Allison as Ethel, with John McIntyre as Barney. This is the true story of a young American. A story told to you by a man who knew him well enough to help shape his entire life. A man named Barney Wilde.
I met Monty Stratton one autumn afternoon near a little country town, Wagner, Texas. I was bumming my way to California when I saw a ball game going on. After the game, I went looking for the fellow who'd pitched.
You calling me, mister?
Yeah, Hey, can you wait a minute? That game you just pitched. Nice going, son.
Thanks, mister.
You ever think of pitching regular professional baseball?
Oh, I guess that's just about all I ever do think about.
Well, what are you wasting your time around here for?
Waste my time. I get $3 every time I pitch a game.
$3, huh? Son, I think you and I ought to have a little talk. Where are you heading?
Home, just about 4 miles up this road here.
4 miles, huh? That will probably kill me, but... Son, I sure like the way you throw a baseball.
Thank you, sir. You play ball, mister?
Yeah, son, man. Slow down, will you?
Where'd you play? Where'd you play?
Chicago, Cleveland, Boston.
Oh, big legs.
Yeah, that's right. One time I was a pretty fair catcher. I can teach you a lot about baseball, son.
Well, I don't quite get it.
Yeah, I know. Look at me now. Huh? Down and out or bum.
Oh, no, I didn't mean that.
Well, I was a fool. A grand slam double barrel fool. Broke training, hit the bottle. Well, here I am. But seeing you pitch this afternoon was like seeing a dream come true. Finding a hot prospect. Coming back into baseball.
What, you staying around here?
Well, not exactly. I was on my way to California.
Oh.
Of course, it doesn't have to be California.
Uh-huh.
I could, I could help.
You ever do any farm work?
Oh,
you sure look mighty flabby.
Son, I got muscles I haven't even used yet.
Uh-huh. Well, I live with my ma.
Oh.
She doesn't think very much of baseball.
Well, maybe if I spoke to her.
No, you better let me do the talking. You see, mister, this is what us baseball men would call a squeeze play. Now, just let me think on it as we walk home. Well, Ma, I was talking to Mr. Wilde here before. He's sort of looking around for something to do, and I thought maybe sort of figure might hole up here for the winter.
Don't say.
Uh-huh, sort of help out around the place.
You know as well as I do, Monty, we can't afford no hired hand.
Oh, well, he wouldn't expect any pay, just room and keep.
Didn't know you're so overworked, son.
Oh, no, it's not that, Ma, but just a lot of things need doing.
When your father died, Monty, he left this place to you. It's yours, and you're old enough to know what you're doing.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I better get that feed out of the barn.
Yeah, we better get that feed out of the barn.
Mr. Wilde.
Yes, ma'am?
This farm's all Monty's got, Mr. Wilde, but it's worth something. But you and Monty, you go ahead and talk baseball. Maybe someday he'll do as good as you did.
Couldn't blame his ma. All baseball meant to her was seeing Monty wind up like me. Anyway, I stayed there, and day after day I tried to pass on to Monty what I knew about the game, what I knew about pitching. And then around March I knew there wasn't any more I could teach him. That's it, Monty. You're doing fine, son. Well, no more for today, huh?
Well, we barely got started here. That's no workout.
Put your jacket on. Keep your arm warm. I've been going to say this all week, Monty.
Say what?
That you're ready.
You're joking.
Oh, I don't mean you've learned all there is to know about pitching, but from here on, you've got to learn it for yourself. We got to get you some action.
Well, not much action around here, Barney.
But there is in California. Jimmy Dykes and the White Sox are starting spring training.
The Chicago White Sox?
All I have to do is say the word, and Dykes will give you a tryout.
He will?
Sure.
But out in California.
I know. It's a long ways, and your ma.
Yeah. Well, let's go into the house, sir. Looks like we got another squeeze play coming up.
You might just as well speak your mind, Monty. You got something to say, say it.
Well, it's just this, Ma. Barney and I were sort of thinking about taking a little trip out to California.
Is that so?
Uh-huh.
What baseball team's out there?
That's the Chicago Whites. How'd you know that?
I didn't figure you'd be going all that ways for anything important, son.
But this is important, ma'am.
Oh? Worth giving up the farm for?
Well, if they take him on, the least he'll get's $300 a month.
That's a lot of money for just throwing a ball around.
And I won't have to give up the farm. I saw Cousin Ernie. He said he'd be glad to take care of it while I'm gone.
What makes you so sure they'll give you a try? They try just anybody?
Well, they sure don't. Well, Barney and Jimmy Dykes are old friends.
Who?
He's the manager of the White Sox, so that way I'll get a chance for sure.
The land's the only place where you're sure, son.
Lots of people don't live on farms, Miss Stratton.
Lots of people don't eat regular, too. You made up your mind, ain't you, Monty?
I just gotta give it a try, Ma.
Sure, son. Sure. You go on, then. You give it a try.
Hey, Red, who's the kid warming up?
Kid Mr. Dykes.
The tall, skinny one in the leather jacket.
I don't know. I thought you sent him out there.
I'll tell you who he is. The best right-hand prospect since Christy Mathis.
Barney. Oh, no, not you again. You bring that kid out here?
You bet I did. I want you to have first crack at him.
Thanks.
He's got everything, Jimmy. I've been working with him all winter.
Yeah? Who supplied the hooch?
No, Jimmy. No, I haven't had a drop since... Well, this is him, Monty. Jimmy Dykes.
Well, I'm sure glad to
Just
meet you.
a second, son. Barney's probably fills your head with a lot of cockeyed ideas. But I can't waste time with every kid he digs up.
Jimmy, wait.
How many times have I told you not to bother me this way?
I'm sorry I busted in on you like this.
That boy's hitchhiked and walked miles to get here, Jimmy. Monty, wait a minute, Monty. Don't go running away like that.
Hey, you, Country.
He means you, Monty. Wait a minute.
Give me that mitt, will you, Eddie? Come on, Country. Throw me a couple.
Get that jacket off, Monty. Burn him in, boy.
That's some uniform, Country.
Oh, the Wagner Wildcats, Mr. Dykes. That's the team I've been pitching for, the Wagner Wildcats.
My. All right, let's see what you got.
He really breaks them off, don't he?
Simmer down, Barney. So you got a curve. Let me see your fast one. Well, I don't know. Maybe you better work out a while. Keep him around, Barney. He may have something. But for Pete's sake, get him a haircut.
Sure, Jimmy, sure. What'd I tell you, Monty? I knew he'd give you a chance.
But when? What are we supposed to do now?
Find us a room. Oh, yeah, in a barber shop. Well, we found a hotel and met a few of the players who were staying there. That night, Monty went down to the lobby to kill some time. And in the lobby, he discovered a fascinating pastime. Monty had never seen a slot machine before. 10 minutes later, he had a pocket full of quarters and a new friend, a rookie named Eddie Dibson. Eddie was flat broke. He had a date that night with his girl. To make matters worse, she was bringing a friend along. But there was Monty, fresh from the sticks and ready to learn all about nightlife in the city.
Well, they're very nice dancers, aren't they? I mean, Dottie and Eddie.
Yes, they are.
I guess I shouldn't be here at all.
Oh? Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, no, it isn't you. It's me. I mean, it's Eddie. I don't know. But for some reason, he seemed awful anxious for me to tag along.
Good friend of yours,
Yeah, yes, he is. I just met him tonight, though. Come along, he says. I want you to meet the girls, he says. And come along.
Oh.
I'm sorry I can't ask you to dance, but I don't know how.
Oh, that's all right.
I guess baseball's about all I know.
Well, that's something.
You seen us work out yet?
Us? Who's us?
The Chicago White Sox.
No, I guess that's the one thing I've missed. You see, I'm just visiting here. I'm from Omaha.
Oh, well, the team looks good. It looks awful good, I tell you.
Oh, that's very nice. I'll bet you're pretty good yourself.
Oh, I don't know. I'm still trying out.
I'll bet you can hit a baseball pretty far.
No, I'm not expected to hit very much. See, I'm a pitcher.
Well, I'll bet you can pitch far.
No, you don't quite seem to get the idea, do you? You see, I just have to pitch from the mound to the plate. It's just about 60 feet.
All right, then. I'll bet you can pitch fast.
Well, sometimes you have to sort of rear back and sort of let them go fast, and then other times you just sort of whip it like this, you see, and curve it in, sort of. And you get in spots and you just sort of float her in. It's what you call a change of pace. And then
speaking of change of pace, would you mind telling me something? Just what is that noise?
Noise? What?
Well, every time you move, that jingling sound.
Jingling? Oh, this.
Huh?
You see, they have these, what do you call the machines in the lobby of the hotel. I never saw them before, and I sort of wondered about them. Before I knew it, I dropped a quarter in, and a whole lot of fruit started spinning around. Then things sort of slid to a stop.
And out came that.
No, nothing happened. Not yet.
Oh.
Well, before I knew it, I was down to my last quarter. I sort of figured I might as well be broke as the way I was, so in went the last quarter, and the fruit took off again, oranges and grapefruit and lemons and spinning around like a top, and then all of a sudden the quarter started popping out like hens through a busted fence.
Well, if you don't make it in baseball, Mr. Stratton, you've got a very fine future in gambling.
No, I'm through gambling.
Why?
Well, I found out how it feels to lose and what it's like to win. Why keep at it?
Yes.
Now, like I said, this other fella, Eddie Dibson, had come with his girl. But one look at Ethel, and Eddie forgot all about Dottie. Eddie had it all figured out.
Where's Dottie been hiding, you? Oh, we'll make a big night out of this, Ethel. I'm going to take you to every spot in town.
Oh, I wouldn't think of putting you to all that trouble, Eddie.
Trouble?
Look, if we're going someplace else, let's go.
Someplace else?
Sure, country, sure. Hey, waiter, check. Now, there's a little place I know near Long Beach. Soft music, dancing under the stars. You want something, waiter?
You asked for the check, sir?
Oh, he wants it. Him. Give it to him.
Check, sir.
Or maybe you'd like hot music. Now, there's a club in Hollywood that really
Eddie.
sit out. Huh?
Eddie.
Take care of it, will you, Monty? We'll make the rounds, baby, and what we don't hit tonight, we'll hit tomorrow. Take care of the man, Monty. We'll meet you out front.
Yeah, take care of the man. $14.40.
Yes, sir.
You got a pot?
I beg your pardon?
Oh, never mind. Here, we'll just spread out the napkin here.
Yes, sir.
Here you are.
Did it occur to you, Mr. Stratton, that I might not want to go home? That I might have wanted to go somewhere with Eddie?
Well, what you wanted wasn't so important.
Oh, it wasn't?
No.
I see.
What was important was the way Eddie was treating Dottie, trying to shine up to you. You know, he shouldn't have done it in front of her like that. You know.
Or in front of you.
Oh, no, that's not what I mean.
Hey, this is it, ain't it, Bud?
Yeah, well, I guess it is.
Yes, this is it.
Well, can you wait, driver? I'll be right back.
Okay, sure.
Look, I'm sorry about tonight. Boy, you sort of got stuck with me, didn't you?
Oh, that's silly.
No, it isn't. I just never had much experience with girls. What's so funny?
You? You got stuck with the check.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I sure did. It was worth it to get out of there. Well, good night.
Monty, wait. Well, I'm sorry about tonight, too, but you see, I haven't had too much experience myself with ball players.
Well, I'm not exactly a ball player yet. I haven't made the team yet.
Oh, you'll make it.
Well, how do you know? You said you didn't know anything about baseball.
I could learn.
When do you go home to Omaha?
Oh, not for a while yet. I'm staying here with my aunt.
Well, time for me to come and call on you?
Could be.
Good night, Ethel.
Good night, Monty.
In just a moment, our stars will return with Act Two of the Stratton story. I hear, Libby, you're collecting travel folders.
Oh, just a dream so far, John.
I got the Wanderlust at Paramount watching the Pine Thomas production of Captain China.
That's a rip-roaring adventure story if I ever saw one.
John Payne in the title role gives a magnificent performance. What a fighter he is.
And Gail Russell looks more beautiful than ever.
Oh, she's ravishing. As a passenger on a tramp steamer, she adds a delightful bit of romance.
The typhoon scenes in Captain China got me. They were so realistic, I practically hoped the skipper keep the ship afloat.
Well, the ship was definitely real, and so rough that when the picture was finished, Gail said she'd take the smooth sailing of a sailboat or a cabin cruiser from now on.
Certainly more relaxing.
And you can wear such pretty clothes when you know there's a box of Lux Flakes not far away. Gail has a sharkskin rayon slack suit she loves for sailing. Or if she wants to tan, she takes along some little boy shorts in butcher linen and a jersey halter top.
A cargo of Luxables, huh?
Gail insists on Lux Flakes for all her washable rayons and nice cottons. They stay so fresh and bright all season.
A smart girl. Washing tests prove that Lux Flakes care really makes a difference. Wrong washing methods soon fade colors, weaken fabrics.
But even the most delicate shades stay enchantingly fresh and gay the safe Lux Flakes way.
And it's such easy care.
Just a swish in these rich, gentle suds, and your dress, your blouse, your slacks are as lovely as ever. Why not give all your washables that lovely Lux look?
We return you now to William Keighley.
Act 2 of The Stratton Story, winner of Photoplay Magazine's Gold Medal Award, starring James Stewart as Monty Stratton and June Allison as Ethel.
Those next few weeks, well, they were quite a strain. Between falling in love and trying out for the White Sox, Monty just didn't know where he stood. But one afternoon in the dressing room...
Hey, you, country.
Oh, here it comes, Barney.
Yeah, Mr. Dykes.
5 innings this afternoon, Jimmy, and he didn't give up a hit.
Yeah. Well, kid, the team goes east tomorrow.
Yeah, I know.
We're going to take you with us.
Barney, did you hear that? Did you hear what he said?
What are you planning to do, Barney?
Well, I guess I don't exactly know.
Well, look, Mr. Dykes, Barney's the best...
Can't have people hanging around doing nothing.
I'll do anything, Jimmy, anything.
Like what? Offhand, I can't think of anything. Unless you'd like to coach the young pitchers. Get in the office. We'll sign a couple of contracts.
The next day at the railroad station, Ethel was there to say goodbye to Monty.
We didn't have very much time together, did we?
No, enough to make me wish there was more. Gee whiz, California turned out much better than I thought it was going to.
Well, it was nice, your making the team, wasn't it?
Oh, no, that's not what I mean. You know it.
I know, Monty.
Bye, Ethel. Let's get going, boy.
Oh, yeah, right away.
You will write, won't you?
Well, I'll never be able to write down what I'm thinking, though.
Well, how'll I know you're thinking about me if you don't write?
Hey, country, kiss her goodbye and get on the train.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that Mr. Dykes. He's a very smart man, darling.
And then the season started. Detroit, Cleveland, St. Louis, and back to Chicago again. And so far, Monty Stratton's services to the Chicago White Sox consisted of batting fly balls to the outfield in the warm-up before the games. On this day, the Yankees were in town, murdering it.
Now, the one thing about the dugout, Barney, you get a good view of the game. Boy, I ought to pay admission.
Yeah, well, you can learn plenty just sitting here. Double for Gary.
There goes Dykes. He's taking the pitcher out.
What a gang, them Yankees. If a pitcher's going to get by, he's got to give them what they don't expect. Outthink them.
Yeah, well, they don't have to worry about me outthinking them. Boy, every time I get paid, I feel like I'm stealing.
Come on, Dykes. Put a pitcher in there.
All right, Stratton, get out there.
Huh? What, me?
No, Jimmy, no, not at a time like this. Why, those Yankees have sent more pitchers to Omaha
You
than
wanted the kid to get a chance, didn't you? Well, he's got it.
Now pitching for Chicago, number 25, Monty Stratton.
You know who he's pitching to. Dickey, that's all. Just Bill Dickey.
Another ball player. Forget about the runners, kid. Just pitch to him.
Tell me it's foul, Jimmy. Tell me it's foul.
What do you know? Clear over the center field wall.
Omaha. Yeah, Yeah, Monty went far in his big league debut from Chicago to Omaha. And that's how Ethel happened to have an unexpected visit.
Oh, I'm so glad to see you, Monty. But what are you doing here in Omaha? I thought you were going to go down...
I know. Now, just sit down. I got a problem.
But you said in your letter you might pitch this week.
Yeah, I did.
Well?
That's what I want to talk to you about.
Well, what happened?
Everything, honey. Now, when I left you in California...
What was the score?
Now, that's not important. The thing that's bothering me is...
Well, they can't expect you to win every game.
Honey, they don't expect me to win any games. I've been farmed out to Omaha.
Well, they don't put you in jail for playing in Omaha.
I know. There's nothing wrong with Omaha. It's just that... I don't know. I might not even make it here. First thing I know, I'll be back on the farm.
Well, don't you like the farm?
Sure. It's all right, but it...
Well, then?
Well, I don't... It's just that things are different now, that's all. Now there's you.
Would it help any if I said I love you?
That's the problem.
Oh, I see.
No, you don't see. I don't know. No matter what I was doing, I kept thinking about you, and every time I'd see something exciting, I kept wishing that you were there to see it with me. I don't know if that's love, man. I really got it.
Oh, you had me worried.
But I had all sorts of plans for us. Now I don't know where I'm going.
Oh, but it doesn't matter to me.
It matters to me, honey. It matters to me. A man's got to know where he's going.
Well, what do you want me to do?
Well, just give me a chance to make it. I just want to make sure that I'm not going to let you down.
All right, Monty, if that's what you want.
No, you're what I want.
Oh, I love you, Monty. You could never let me down. Monty.
Yes, dear.
What was the score?
16-0.
Oh, you're a fine pitcher.
There's a tailor in Chicago who gives a suit of clothes to every ball player who hits the scoreboard in the center field. As of yesterday, the New York Yankees, the best-dressed team in baseball.
Monty pitched 6 ball games for Omaha, won them all, 3 shutouts. That was good enough for Jimmy Dykes. He brought Monty back to the White Sox. Only this time, a girl named Ethel tagged along because now she was Mrs. Monty Stratton. That night, a few of the boys gave him a little party at the hotel.
Just proves what I've been saying. How could a guy like you, Country, get a gal like Ethel?
Oh, it wasn't easy, Mr. Lyons. I just wouldn't take no for an answer.
Oh, she's pretty, Ted, but she's not very smart.
Here come the Bombers.
Bombers?
Yeah, a few of the Yankee players.
This is what they look like, honey, when they're just civilians.
Hi, Lou. Hiya, fellas. I guess you know everybody. Oh, this is Monty Stratton. Stratton, this is Bill Dickey. Mr. Dickey, Mrs. Stratton.
How do you do?
How do you do?
Well, we met you earlier this season, didn't we, Stratton?
Man, you met me and everything I pitched.
Well, it's nice to have met you, Miss.
Thank you. Why, he's awfully nice.
Well, wait till you see him tomorrow, honey. Why, they don't call him the Bombers for nothing. Wow. Some poor guy's going to have a rough afternoon.
Yeah, could be.
Hey, by the way, Barney, who's Dykes going to pitch tomorrow?
You.
Yeah. Who, me?
A couple of the boys have sore arms.
Ethel.
Yes, dear?
Our baggage, you unpacked anything yet?
No, not yet.
Don't.
That next day was Monty's real start as a big league ball player. Monty won that ball game all by himself, even to driving in the winning run. And that's just about the way it went all the rest of that season. Not that he won every game, but from then on, the fans knew that Monty Stratton was just about as fine a pitcher as they'd see in the league. In October, Monty and Ethel went down to the farm and fixed.
Well, now, if you'll call off your dog, ma'am, I'm selling some books here that you might like to see.
Monty! Oh, land sakes, I didn't even know you, son. New clothes and all.
Yeah, that isn't the only thing new, Ma. Here's Ethel.
Hello, Ma.
Oh, Ethel. It seems to me, son, you've been running over with luck.
Oh, I sure have, Ma.
Got a new car, too.
Oh, yes. Bought myself a bucket of bolts. Eddie, Ernie.
Howdy, Monty. Howdy.
Ethel, this is my cousin Ernie. If it wasn't for Ernie, I never could have left here.
Hello, Ernie.
Ma'am. Hey, you're pitching good, Monty.
Well, don't tell me you're a fan now.
Nope, just heard about it. Well, I guess you won't be needing me anymore, huh, Monty?
Well, I sort of wish you'd stick around, Ernie. We got a lot of things you could fix up around here.
Lot you know about it.
Always fences to mend and some fresh paint, maybe, and then, maybe better build one of those nursery rooms. You leave your mouth open like that, Ma, you're liable to catch a fly in it.
Monty. Ethel.
Yeah, well, now, how about some supper, Grandma?
Monty went through the next season like a house of fire. The fans ate him up. The newspapers, too. He was all that Jimmy Dike said he was.
Right now, Barney, I wouldn't trade Monty Stratton for any other pitcher in baseball. What a future that boy's got.
And Monty had someone else now to win games for. A brand new baby boy. But after a while, I began to worry. Ethel, too. Something had happened to Monty. As often as not, he'd disappear after a game. He'd tell Ethel it was for interviews, newspaper guys, but I knew different, and so did Ethel. Anyway, they were back in Texas now, and Monty was a farmer again for the winter.
A little dressy, ain't you, son? My land, Ethel, just look at the dude.
Shaved, too.
Oh, no, not another press interview, Monty, not down here.
No. I just thought maybe we ought to go out and do a little celebrating. You know, Junior's going to be 6 months old tomorrow, so come on, we're going out to dinner.
Well, give me a chance to catch my breath. You know, Ma, this is an event. We don't get to do much celebrating in Chicago.
Well, grab him while you can, honey.
Well, now, look, you two girls are going to sit around and chew the fat. I'll go and celebrate myself. Goodbye.
Oh, no, hang on to him, Ma. I'll be ready in about 5 minutes.
Would you care to dance, Mrs. Stratton?
Monty, you're acting very strangely. Ordering champagne and now
Well, a fine thing if a man has to plead with his own wife to dance with him.
But, darling, you don't dance.
You like to dance, don't you?
Well, yes, I do.
Well, maybe it's about time I learn. Now, come on.
Well, you're going to look awfully funny out there.
It won't be the first time. Now, come on.
Monty, you're dancing.
Oh, it's nothing.
Oh, but you said you didn't know how.
Well, I didn't, honey, but I just got sick and tired of everybody dancing with you but me. Did you ever hear of Inez and Papania?
Inez and Papania?
Yeah, you ever hear of them?
Marty, you've been taking dancing lessons.
Yeah. Inez and Papania. They got schools all over the American League. Of course, you don't always get Inez or Papania. For instance, in Detroit, I got a Drusilla, it was. In St. Louis, there's a little short one named Angelita. In Cleveland...
But in all those press interviews, coming home late all the time.
Honey, I took so many dancing lessons this summer, it's a wonder I had strength enough to pitch. Say, I got a few fancy steps here. Do you think you can stick with me?
Oh, I think I can stick with you.
All right, here we go.
Well, now, just a minute.
Well...
I sure got me some fella.
Oh, shucks, didn't you know that? Now, come on, let's bounce.
Good morning, Ma.
Morning? It was morning when you came in last night. Now, what could you two have been doing all that time?
Oh, just dancing.
Dancing? With him?
Well, sure, naturally.
You were dancing?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if we did some more dancing tonight. How about a date, ma'am?
Why, sure. Only right now, Ma and I have a lot of canning to do.
Now, what about my son? Where is he?
Well, now, he's in perfectly good hands. He's helping Ernie feed the chickens.
Well, it's a fine thing. I'm practically useless around here. Okay, suppose I get my gun and my dog and we'll look for a couple of rabbits, huh?
Well, if it's all right with the rabbits, it's certainly all right with me.
See you in a couple hours, honey. Hey, dog, Hap! Hap, come on, let's go hunt.
easy, Cap. Take it easy, will ya? I'm coming. Wait a minute. Get over this fence.
My leg. It's my leg. Hap, go home. Home. No, Hap. Get Ethel. Go home, Hap.
It's not just my opinion, Mrs. Stratton. I've talked to 2 other doctors. It's his leg or his life.
But his legs are his life.
The infection is spreading. If we don't operate immediately...
Oh, but his leg... He's a ball player.
He's a man whose life is in danger. We must have your permission to operate. Please sign this paper, Mrs. Stratton.
Oh, Barney. Barney, thanks for coming.
I flew down, Ethel, as soon as I heard.
Oh, well, he's in there now. The operating room. Oh, Barney.
That's right, kid. Cry it out. Well, he had some innings. At least he had that.
Oh, but his leg, Barney. His leg.
Pause now for station identification. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
After a brief intermission, we'll present the 3rd act of the Stratton story. Right now, I'd like to introduce a charming and lovely young star of stage and screen, Miss Pamela Britton. You know you're in good company in your latest screen role in Key to the City, Pamela.
I couldn't ask for a better break than to be in a picture with Clark Gable and Loretta Young, Mr. Keeley.
Yes, they're at their best in Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer's sparkling new comedy.
Working with George Sidney, the director, was a wonderful experience for me, too.
Clark Gable is delightful as a happy-go-lucky, two-fisted mayor who falls in love with beautiful Loretta Young, a lady mayor. Just the ingredients for a grand comedy.
And when you add Frank Morgan and Marilyn Maxwell, it just bubbles over.
Yes, Loretta makes a lovely mayor. You know, I'd vote for her any time.
Girls will love her wardrobe, especially a ravishing chiffon nightgown that gets Clark Gable into a very amusing situation in Key to the City. The night he plays a major role in one scene.
And I'm sure Lux Flakes play a major role, keeping it lovely for the camera.
That's exactly what the wardrobe department told me, Mr. Kennedy. I discovered that Loretta Young is just as enthusiastic about Lux Flakes as the studio is. One day in her dressing room, she showed me some gorgeous new slips and nighties she had just bought. Luscious pastels that were really dreamy. We both agreed we wouldn't trust such delicate colors to anything but Lux Flakes.
Smart girls everywhere feel the same way. They know that Lux Flakes are far safer for exquisite colors and fabrics. Actual washing tests prove it. Pretty slips and nighties washed the wrong way soon look faded and old. But those washed with Lux Flakes stay fresh and bright as can be 3 times as long. It pays to play safe. Protect all your silk, rayon, nylon, and fine cottons, too, with gentle Lux Flakes care. Give all your nice washables that lovely Lux look. Thank you for coming tonight, Pamela Britton. Here's our producer, Mr. William Keeley.
The curtain rises on Act 3 of the Stratton story, winner of Photoplay Magazine's Gold Medal Award, starring James Stewart as Monty Stratton and June Allison as Ethel.
Monty came home from the hospital late in December. He'd lost a lot more than a leg. His hopes, his future, his spirit, all were gone. Day after day, he just sat by the window in the living room. Now and then he'd hobble around on the crutches, but he'd have no part of the artificial leg. Nobody was even to mention it. He just seemed to be waiting for the end of the world.
Lots of mail today, Molly. Look, darling, hundreds of letters from people all over the country.
Yeah, well, I don't want to look at them.
Oh, but if people are nice enough to write to you, don't you think you would...
Well, if you like them so much, why don't you read them yourself? What do they say? Merry Christmas? Happy New Year?
I was straightening things out in the shed, Monty. There's a lot of your stuff piled up out there.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, why don't you let me get your crutches? We'll go out there and look it over.
I know what's out there. Get rid of it all.
But there are things you'll want to hang on to, darling. Like this baseball, the one the team all signed, remember?
Yeah. Give it to me. All right, now do you believe me? Get rid of it all.
No use crying, Ethel. No use at all, honey.
Oh, he hasn't seen me cry, Mom. But sometimes I just can't hold it back anymore. What are we going to do? He's not interested in anything or anybody. Not even the baby. He's all by himself. I just can't seem to reach him.
I guess it wouldn't be right if he was letting it roll off his back like it was nothing. But there's something about him, Ethel. Oh, I don't know. Good sense or something. And no doctor can amputate it. Well, I guess supper's ready. I'll go find Ernie.
Isn't it past baby's bedtime? What's he doing here?
I'll take him up, Molly. Come on, darling. Now, you say goodnight to Uncle Ernie.
Hey, he said it. He said goodnight.
Regular blabbermouth, ain't he?
Well, I'll be dogged. Come here, young fella. Come here to Uncle Ernie. Come on. Come on now.
Look, Molly, he's trying to walk.
What darn if he ain't walking and talking all in one night.
Oh, Molly, if we could only have a picture of that. His first real step. Isn't it wonderful?
What's so wonderful about it? He's got 2 legs, hasn't he? Come on, give me my crutches.
Marty.
Well?
Maybe you'd rather be alone. I just thought... Oh, Marty, don't let it do this to you, darling. Please.
No, I don't know. I just came out of doors to look at that road. I used to do 10 miles on that road like it was nothing and then pitch a ball game. Now I can get it. I can hardly get as far as the road, let alone walk on it.
You told me once, a man's got to know where he's going. Where are you going, Marty?
I guess I'm just not going. Before I could do things, but now
Oh, I've made out much worse than you, Marty. You lost your leg, but I lost you.
No, but I still feel the same way inside. It's just...
Oh, I know you feel the same, darling. That's what I've been trying to tell you all these weeks.
Oh, give me your hand, Ethel. If I just didn't love you so much.
Oh, Marty.
Oh, honey. I guess I got a squawk coming, too. I sure wasted a lot of money on those dancing lessons, didn't I?
Oh, Marty. Darling.
Gee, I sure got me some gal.
Oh, shucks. Didn't you know that?
Then on, Monty started to find himself. Oh, not that he changed overnight, but at least he was trying to get himself straightened out. And then one day...
Hey, you're not doing so good, young fella. Now, come on, walk back to me. I'll try it again.
Marty, is the baby all right?
I don't know, honey. He sure is having a time learning to walk. Yeah, that's what I told her. Hi. Yeah, it looks like you and me got our work cut out for us. You and me both.
He just can't figure out your crutches, can he?
Watch him for a while, will you, honey? There's something in the bedroom I want to get.
Marty.
I'll take him now, honey. Junior and I need a little sunshine. We're going out.
But, Marty, your crutches.
Yeah, I figured it's time I tried out my store leg. Come on. Come on, put his coat on.
Come on, darling. We mustn't keep Daddy waiting. And please, please be a good boy.
Now, you see these things, Junior? Well, they're feet. Now, those are yours, and these are mine. And they tell me you're supposed to pick them up and lay them down. Okay, now, let's see what happens, huh?
And we found it in the shed, Marty. Ma and I. Your old pitcher's glove. You want to keep it?
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
I'll take it then.
Well,
Now keep it. Wait a minute. Here's Barney's old catcher's mitt. Let's have a catch. Come on.
Well, wait, hey, watch how you throw that ball there. Take it easy now.
Too much rich living. A little exercise won't hurt you at all. Now, come on. Let's throw it to you.
Oh, fine-looking catcher. I can't even see you behind the mitt.
How am I doing, Country?
Well, stop waving your arms. Come on, catch the ball.
Say, this is fun.
Yeah, settle down a little. Maybe Cleveland can use you.
Oh, no wisecracks now. You're not so good yourself.
Yeah, I tell you what I'll do. I'll have Barney come down and look you over. All right, now catch this.
Marty.
Oh, no, I'm all right. I'll get up here. Leg. I think I know what I did wrong. Now, come on. Let's throw some more.
By the way, can you wait a second?
Oh. Well, yeah. That's the first time I ever been kissed by a catcher.
Catchers don't do that, huh?
No, not as a rule. It sort of slows up the game.
Well, just don't sit there. Let's see the big pitch. Come on, lay it in there, Country. Where's all your stuff? Lay it in there. Hey, let's see the fastball.
The fastball? Well, even if I had one, what would you do with it?
Well, now, you just throw it and find out.
Well, you know, you're fixing to get your head knocked off.
Don't argue with the catcher. Now, come on, right over the plate.
Oh, okay.
Come on, now, right in here, kid. Oh.
Oh, honey, I'm sorry. Oh, gee, I'm...
Just help me up. I caught it, didn't I?
Well, let me see your hand. Did you hurt your hand?
What I am rubbing is not my hand.
Oh, yes.
You just lost yourself a catcher.
Never had a catcher quit me before.
You never had a catcher before who was going to have a baby.
Well, why don't we just sort... Hey, what? What?
All during those months, I'd hear from Ethel pretty regularly. Monty was getting along fine, doing a day's work on the farm, even practicing his pitching, she said. And then Jimmy Dyke sent me down to Houston to scout some players in the big All-Star game. I figured to stop by the farm the day after the game and visit with Monty. But he pulled a big surprise. He was at the game, in the dressing room, in uniform.
Don't look so shocked, Barney. It's me, all right.
You mean to say you're going to pitch today? But how can you? This is big baseball, Monty.
Sure, I know.
These are all-star teams. They're playing for big money. They're going to be tough. Who'd you cook this up with?
Josh Higgins, he's manager of the Southern team.
Ethel know about it?
No. She and Ma, they're up in the grandstand. They thought I'd just come down to say hello to some of the fellas.
You asked Higgins to let you pitch?
I asked Higgins to let me try, Barney. I had to find out just what's what. And I'd better start out the field.
Here are the batteries for today's game. The Western All-Stars, Gene Barrington pitching, R.T. catching. For the Southern All-Stars, Milliken catching. And in his first comeback appearance, Monty Stratton pitching.
Ethel had seen me now. I tried to stop her, but I couldn't. She met Monty just as he was limping out of the tunnel toward the field.
Darling, why didn't you tell me?
Well, I wanted to surprise you, I guess. I got so I was throwing the ball pretty good, and I got all steamed up, and
I don't know. Now I'm afraid.
Afraid? Afraid of what? You've been beaten before.
I keep saying to myself I'm just the same as everybody else. I wanted to prove it. I wanted to show you, only I can't. I just can't go through with it.
Marty, listen to me. I came down here just now hoping to stop you. I was just as afraid as you are. But you can't turn back now. That won't solve anything. You're a ball player, Country.
Us saying I'm still a ball player doesn't make me one.
Well, then let's find out.
Well, Do I look all right?
Oh, you look just fine. Now go on. Get out there.
I guess this was the biggest moment of his life. A cripple, a man with an artificial leg, trying to tell himself that he wasn't licked, that he still was a big league pitcher, but he just didn't have what he used to.
Oh, he's breaking his heart out there, Barney.
Yeah, hitting everything he throws.
He's looking at us, Barney.
Oh. Come on, Monty, boys. Stay in there, kid.
Oh, don't let them scare you, darling. You're doing fine, just fine.
This is it. There goes Higgins out for the mound.
How do you feel, Monty? I just can't get any stuff on the ball. Those poor fellas in the outfield, they're going to be all worn out if this keeps up.
Don't let them worry you, fella. Every man on the team is with you. Now listen up. You're too tense. They can play it your way.
What, are you leaving me in?
Yeah, I'm leaving you in. You see, I want to win this game.
Thanks, Josh.
He's staying in, Ma. They're letting him pitch. Oh, watch him now. You just watch him now.
He got out of the inning. 4 hits off him and 1 run, and that's the way the score stayed for 3 more innings, 1-0. And then Monty's teammates began to hit. Man on first, a man on second, 2 out, and Monty's turn to bat. A chance to tie the score. Monty Stratton was one of the few pitchers who could hit a baseball, and that's just what he did. A clean single over shortstop. He started off for first base running as best he could. Hovland, he'd make it all right. He'd beat the throw. But then he fell. His leg went out from under him, and he struggled in the dust, trying somehow to reach the bag.
You're out.
Josh Higgins is coaching at first base.
Monty, you all right?
Sure, I'm sorry, Josh. I guess I started my slide too soon.
Monty pitched 5 more innings, pitched like nothing at all had ever happened to him. And the score still was 1-0. In the bottom half of the 8th, the voice from the south started to hit again. 2 outs, 2 men on base, just like in the 3rd inning. And Milliken, the catcher, came up to the plate. And then the Western All-Stars called a little conference. They decided to walk Milliken.
But if they walk him, Barney, the bases will be loaded.
They know that, honey.
Well, and they're walking him just to get at Monty.
Yeah, well, that's baseball, isn't it? Now, let's see what Higgins does. He's got to take Monty out and put in a pinch hitter.
Attention, please. The Southern All-Stars are going to put in a pinch hitter for Stratton.
I'd sure like to see you finish this game, Monty. It was just up to me, but every guy on the team has a big stake in this.
Well, I think I can get him in, Josh.
But we're a run behind, Monty. The base is loaded. I got to put in a hitter.
Let him hit, Josh. We'll take our chances.
You can do it, Monty.
Come on, take your cut, boy. Get up there at the plate.
Looks like the team wants you to stay in, Monty. Go ahead, take your cut.
Attention, please. Stratton is not leading the game. He'll take his turn at bat.
He hit the 3rd pitch. And the stands went dead. They knew he was a great pitcher, but they also knew he couldn't run. 2 men came across the plate, and Monty made a dive for first. Monty was safe. Monty had given his team a 1-run lead. Now all he had to do was to hold that lead. But over on the other bench, the Western All-Stars were listening to their manager.
Stratton's really pitching. Now, look, fellas, don't try to power the ball. Just get in there and bunt.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I know. I hate to do this, but we got to get on. Now, go on. Bunt toward the mound. Yeah, and keep bunting.
And that's just what they did. 2 successive bunts. 2 men were on base.
Well, there goes his ball game, Barney. They're bunting it right out from under him.
Oh, it just don't seem right. They know he can't run to the ball.
And there's nothing he can do about it now. 2 on and nobody out.
They're talking to him, Mr. Higgins and the catcher.
Well, he went 8 full innings. Not bad for a guy with 1 leg.
Sure looks like they're all going to bunt, Monty. What can we do about it? Well, I'll just have to get off the mound quicker, that's all. I know what to expect now.
That's good enough for me, Monty. Stay in.
All right. Play ball. Play ball.
The third batter bunted too, only this time Monty nailed him. But the other two men advanced. One out now, man on second, a man on third. And they crossed him up again. They started swinging hard. No more bunts. Even a long fly ball would tie up the ball game. But Monty struck the batter out. Just one more man to go, and he'd win his ball game. But this one man was Big Johnny Lindell, the power hitter of the league. One man to go, just one man. Monty took his time. He looked around his outfield, the runners on the bases, and then burned that ball across the plate. It was a line drive, a scorcher between the mound and first base. Instinctively, Monty dived for it, sprawling out on the grass. He couldn't hold on to it, but he had knocked it down, and he crawled after it, and Lindell went racing down the baseline. There was no time to get to his feet. Monty threw the ball as best he could. Lindell was out. The game was over. Monty had won. And now his teammates were picking him up, carrying him off the field. And Ma just sat there. You couldn't tell what she was thinking. Not unless you knew Ma as we knew her. But in Ethel's face was the whole story. In Ethel's tears, and in Ethel's smile.
Monty Stratton won. Not just a ball game, he won and is leading a rich, full life. He stands as an inspiration for all of us, living proof of what a man can do if he has the courage and determination to refuse to admit defeat.
Before our stars return for their curtain calls, here's Libby Collins to tell the ladies what's afoot for fashion this spring.
A girl will put her best foot forward in a red shoe. Red is one of the smartest accessory colors for spring. A wonderful way to dramatize a pink costume or to contrast navy. For a well-turned-out ensemble, wear very sheer nylon stockings with a strong rosy cast with your red shoes. The wrong stocking shade can ruin the effect as completely as a run.
It's easy to keep that rosy glow if you wash stockings after every wearing with Lux Flakes. This gentle care keeps color truer, cuts down needless stocking runs.
Scientific strain tests prove what a difference in wear Lux Flakes can make. Using a strong soap or rubbing stockings with cake soap make runs come much sooner. Identical stockings washed with Lux Flakes lasted twice as long.
That's just like getting an extra pair of stockings every time you buy a pair.
Hollywood studios know that. They insist on Lux Flakes for stockings and all nice washables.
These tiny diamonds of Lux make suds amazingly fast. Freshen nylons safely in a jiffy. In fact, they take such good care of stockings, over 90% of all makers recommend Lux Flakes. Better get a box tomorrow. Use it for your precious nylons and for all your nice washables to give them that lovely Lux look. Here's Mr. Keeley with our stars.
After tonight's performance, it's easy for all of us to understand why the Stratton story was voted America's favorite picture of the year. And here are two of the reasons. Jimmy Stewart and June Allison.
Thank you very much, Bill. I think June and I'd both like to tell the audience that we feel very complimented by the selection of the Stratton story for Photoplay Gold Medal Award.
Oh, yes, indeed. We're very grateful to the moviegoers of America.
You know, it's wonderful to have you back with us, June. And as for you, Jimmy, there's just one question that
Yeah, well, Bill, I feel fine. The honeymoon was wonderful. Married life's great. I hope we have 6 children, preferably boys and girls. And my wife said to be sure and bring home Lux Flakes.
Well, Jimmy, that answers everything. And you and June will find a supply of Lux Flakes waiting for you.
Well, thank you, Bill. Say, Jimmy, I hear MGM has starred you in a fine new picture, Malaya. And there's another actor in it. I can't think of his name. What is it?
Yeah, it's by the name of Tracy. Spencer Tracy.
Yes.
Wonderful actor.
Very good actor.
Well, that seems like a very happy combination. But right now, we want to congratulate you, Jimmy, on receiving the Photoplay Award for being the actor of the year whose performance was most enjoyed by the fans.
I'm really grateful, Bill, and I'd like to point out I'd like to point out that there's a very beautiful girl named June Allison who is also receiving a citation tonight for her work during the year.
Thank you, Jimmy. Of course, everyone's been wonderful. By the way, shouldn't we be leaving for the Beverly Hills Hotel?
Yes, right after the broadcast, you'll both receive your awards at the gala dinner there. George Murphy will be presiding as master of ceremonies, and most of the big stars in Hollywood will be there.
Well, before we leave, Bill, what's the play for next week?
Jimmy is one of the most unique comedies to come out of Hollywood this season. The intriguing drama, A Letter to Three Wives. And we'll have 2 original stars from the 20th Century Fox picture. Beautiful Linda Darnell and a brilliant new star making his first appearance on this stage, Paul Douglas.
Oh, that's wonderful entertainment, Bill.
You know, there's just one more thing I'd like to say. There's a fellow down in Texas who gets my award for courage and, well, what ball players call moxie. He's got it. Monty Stratton. Good luck, Monty. Good night, Bill.
Good night.
Good night, and all our thanks for a memorable evening.
Lux girls are lovelier. They have the charm of fresh, appealing skin. Never neglect the gentle, protecting care that guards complexion beauty. Here's a tip from Jane Wyman, famous screen star. She says, "My Lux soap facials are so quick and easy. I smooth the creamy lather in well, rinse, then pat with a soft towel to dry. Now my skin feels softer, smoother, looks so fresh." Try Jane Wyman's Daily Lux Soap Care for quick new loveliness. It really works. Actually, 3 out of 4 complexions improved in a short time in tests by skin specialists. So next time you shop, be sure to get Hollywood's fragrant white beauty soap. Remember, 9 out of 10 screen stars use Lux toilet soap.
Lever Brothers Company, the makers of Lux Flakes, join me in inviting you to be with us again next Monday evening when the Lux Radio Theater presents Paul Douglas and Linda Darnell in A Letter to Three Wives. This is William Keeley saying good night to you from Hollywood.
June Allison appeared by arrangement with Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, producers of Nancy Goes to Rio, starring Ann Sothern and Jane Powell. Heard in tonight's play were John McIntyre as Barney, Cliff Clark as Jimmy Dykes, Larry Dobkin as Ted Lyons, George Neese as Bill Dickey, and Helen Brown as Ma. Our play was adapted by S.H. Barnett, and our music was directed by Louis Silvers. This is your announcer, John Milton Kennedy, reminding you to join us again next Monday night to hear Letter to Three Wives, starring Linda Darnell and Paul Douglas. Stay tuned for My Friend Irma, which follows over these same stations. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
The Quiz Kid, brought to you by the makers of Alka-Seltzer and One-A-Day brand vitamins.
Can you name 3 common words in the English language that begin with the letters S-U, but which sound as though they begin with S-H?
And there you have the first question in today's School Kids Questionnaire. And you quiz kids at home have about 40 seconds to get the answer before we call in our 5 juvenile brain busters. And here they are, the Quiz Kids. Like every schoolroom, our classroom of the year has a teacher. Here he is now, the chief quizzer himself, Joe Kelly.
Thank you, Bob Murphy, and hello, everyone. Well, I have a question box full to the brim with brain teasers today, and we have a guest observer, a prominent American educator, Dr. Henry Noble McCracken. Now, kids, let's show Dr. McCracken some of your top-notch schoolwork and tell the folks listening who's in class today. Lonnie?
I'm Lonnie Lundy. I'm 11 years old and in the 7th grade at Lincoln School, Park Ridge, Illinois.
Patrick?
I'm Patrick Owen Kynan. I'm 10 years old and go to Fort Dearborn School in Chicago.
Rennie?
I'm Rennie Templeton. I'm 12 years old and I'm in 8th grade at the Kenwood School in Chicago.
Joel?
I'm Joel Kupperman. I'm 11 years old in 17th School, Chicago, Illinois.
And in our 7-year-old department, Richard?
I'm Richard Weitzler. I'm 7 years old and I go to the University of Chicago.
Well, good for you, Richard. That's fine. Yes, sir. I know it's a little warm today, and we've got to be a little slow about getting around. Now, back to that first question from Patricia Carroll of Long Beach, California, who wants you to name two common words in the English language that begin with S-U, but which are pronounced as if they started with S-H. Pat?
Well, there's sugar.
Sugar's one. Can you think of another one, Lonnie?
Sure.
Sure, you bet. That's right. That's two. Can we think of any others? Only asked for two. Well, that's fine. There's Shirley, there's Sugar, there's Sugar Plum, Sugary, Surety, and so on down the line. All right. Well, that means, for sending in that first question, that Patricia Carroll gets a Zenith portable radio from the makers of Alka-Seltzer. Of course, if you children had missed it, instead of the portable radio, she would have received the big $250 Zenith radio phonograph combination. Now, here's our next question. Mrs. Donald E. Kinnett of Los Angeles, California, is very much interested in the Western Hemisphere Defense Conference being held in Rio de Janeiro. She pictures the conference room very gaily decorated with flags of the American republics. If delegates took their places under the flags I described, what countries would the delegates represent? First, under a flag that has 4 blue stripes alternating with 5 white stripes. In the upper left-hand corner is a square white field supporting a sunburst. Rennie?
Isn't that Uruguay?
That's right, Uruguay. That's correct. All right, now, a flag that is divided into 2 stripes, the upper stripe white, the lower stripe red. In the upper left-hand corner is a field of blue bearing a single white star. Now, what country is represented? Lonnie?
Cuba.
No. Richard?
Chile.
Chile, that's right. Chile. When 63 sportsmen invade Chicago looking for bears, that's news. And that is what will happen Friday night when the college all-stars come to town to gun for the Chicago Bears, the National Professional Football Champions. James Yukius of Chicago feels that you quiz kids should be able to identify the nicknames of the all-star players suggested by these songs. You are to get all 3 of them. And here's number 1. Joe?
That's the old oaken bucket.
That's right. The old oaken bucket. Lonnie?
Bucketshurst.
Bucketshurst.
Northwestern.
Northwestern University. Right. Here's the next one. Lonnie?
My buddy.
My buddy?
Buddy Young.
Buddy Young. Claude Buddy Young. Star from where?
Illinois.
That's right, University of Illinois. And here's the last one. Lonnie?
Laughing on the outside, but I don't know who the player would be.
Well, laughing on the outside, and what's the rest of the title, Pat?
Crying on the inside.
Crying on the inside. So we have 2 clues there. Joel?
Well, I don't know. It sounds like a double one. It could be Davis and Blanchard.
That's
because Davis is Mr. Outside and Blanchard's Mr. Inside.
That's the answer. That's correct. That's right. Little Richard is really enjoying the show. He's applauding with the audience here. Now, nothing like bringing your own applause. Now, here's a question from Mrs. R.F. Nichols, Sr. of Flint, Michigan. That ought to be lots of fun, kids. Maybe you listeners would like to try this at home along with the quiz kids. It's not as simple as it sounds. You quiz kids have all just been given pencil and paper. Now then, Mrs. Nichols wants you to spell the name Detroit out loud and at the same time write the word Michigan on the piece of paper. All right. When I say go, start spelling Detroit out loud. And remember, you've got to yell out those letters and at the same time write Michigan. 1, 2, 3, go.
Capital B-E-T-R-O-I-T.
All right. Now, I want each of you to pronounce the word that's on your paper. Remember, no cheating on this. Just read what's there. Joel?
Michigan.
How'd you spell it?
Capital M-I-C-H-I-G-A-N.
Fine. All right, Lonnie?
Capital M-I-C-H-I-G-A-N.
Well, so far so good. Richard?
I couldn't spell it.
I think Rich is doing a little doodling over there. All right, Rennie?
Well, my spelling's not so good anyway. I have Michgan.
And Pat?
Well, just I was starting to spell land right, my pencil broke, so I don't have anything.
Oh, say, we really had difficulties. Well, that was a lot of fun, and I'll just take and bet you a lot of the folks at home were trying that, too. And now, Instructor Murphy will take over with a few pointers for you mothers at home. Subject, how to pack a picnic basket.
Well, first of all, put all the moist foods in glass jars. Pack the more fragile items on top, and don't forget the salt and paper napkins. Then move everything over from the corner of the basket and tuck in a package of Alka-Seltzer, because the combination of potato salad and ice-cold pop, cheese sandwiches, chocolate cake and pickles and ginger cookies and olives. Say, I'm getting hungry here. But as I was saying, it's quite possible that an unwise mixture of good things to eat and drink may result in acid indigestion, which can surely ruin the picnic fun. Now, that's where Alka-Seltzer comes in. Just drop an Alka-Seltzer tablet into a paper cup full of water, then down the hatch with the sparkling solution it makes, and on with the fun. There's nothing quite like Alka-Seltzer to bring you fast relief from acid indigestion. Did you hear me? I said there's nothing quite like Alka-Seltzer to bring you fast relief from acid indigestion. Get that Alka-Seltzer today from your druggist in either the 30 or the 60-cent size.
Thank you, Bob. Now, children, here's a puzzling question from George Hill of Bremerton, Washington. If you were calling on your girl, and instead of taking her some Chanel No. 5, you took her Spilogale putorius, what, would she be just as pleased, Pat?
Well, no, she wouldn't, because that's a skunk.
That's right. Yes, she wouldn't like that, would she? Well, that was quick, all right. Mrs. Effie Hanson of Normal, Illinois, asks you to imagine that we are in a courtroom for this question. We shall attend 3 trials found in literature, and in the first case, you will hear the attorney for the defendant. This first attorney really doesn't appear in the book at all, but see if you can tell whom he is defending. Now, get 2 out of 3 on this. All right, now... wait until Judge Kelly gets out his gavel. The attorney for the defense will please proceed.
Your Honor, before this trial proceeds any further, I wish to exercise my right as attorney for the defendant by objecting to certain members of the jury. One of them is commonly called mad, and another, I speak frankly, Your Honor, I mince no words when I say another is a plain lizard.
Pat?
Well, that would be Alice in Wonderland.
Well, and...
by Lewis Carroll, wouldn't it?
Yes, and who would be the defendant?
Well, the defendant would be the Jack of Hearts.
Well, that's pretty close, Rennie.
The Knave of Hearts.
The Knave of Hearts, that's right. Well, in this scene, the prosecuting attorney general speaks.
Gentlemen of the jury, my evidence will prove that the prisoner has been passing and repassing between France and England on secret business of which he can give no honest account. This jury being a responsible jury, and I am sure you are a responsible jury, this jury must positively find the prisoner guilty of treason and make an end of him whether they like it or not.
Who is the defendant in this case, Rennie?
Well, that's in Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens.
And the defendant is...
I know it, but I just can't think of it right now. You better call on somebody else and say... Well, it was Charles Darnay, otherwise known as Charles Evermonde.
That's right. He was on trial for treason in the Tale of Two Cities. Now, this last trial is from a movie.
You have been demanding actual proof of my client's identity. And yet it's a case in which up to now no such evidence could be exhibited. You will all agree that any evidence submitted by the United States Post Office cannot be overlooked. I submit for your inspection these letters sent to my client by the United States Post Office. What further evidence could you ask for as proof of his identity?
Really?
Well, that would be in Miracle on 34th Street. The defendant's name in the picture was Kris Kringle, but in real life it was Edmund Gwenn.
That's very, very good, Rennie. That's right. Mrs. A.E. Erickson of Minneapolis, Minnesota seems to be in a bit of a quandary and would like you kids to help her out. She wants to know just what you would do if you were a babysitter and the baby wouldn't stop crying. Now, just what would you do about it, kids? You know, I should be answering this one. Many's the time I've faced the same problem. Joel?
Well, I've always thought a good cry's healthy for a baby, so I wouldn't do nothing.
You just let the baby cry, huh? Mm-hmm.
Unless I knew she was crying for something, then I'd give it to her.
Oh, I see. Lonnie?
Well, first I'd go and, well, in the first place, if I was going to sit with the baby, I'd come prepared with a lot of cotton and stuff in my ears. If it should get too bad. Then I'd try to find out what he wanted. If the baby was older, if it was 2 or 3 and it wouldn't stop crying, I don't know. I might have to call his parents if it got too bad.
Uh-huh.
But if it was little, I just don't know what I'd do.
You just don't know what you would do. Rennie?
Well, I just started sitting the other day with a few little girls, 3 or so, and they, one of them started crying. But anyway, I came previously prepared with some things. I brought a book and some things, and keep them from crying, I just, I like sleight of hand, so I'd reach up in the air and pull down a piece of gum from the fairies, and that stopped them.
Oh, well, say, now, that's a very clever idea, Rennie. That's fine. And, Pat?
Well, I don't usually have much trouble about that around our house because our baby very seldom cries. But in case I did have to sit, I would, if the baby just wouldn't stop crying, I'd shake a rattle at it, and if that wouldn't stop it, I'd just lock the doors and go in and let it wait and die out.
Oh, Well, that's that other part of your idea there is a rattling good idea, I must say. Richard?
Well, if the baby wouldn't stop crying, I'd give her a bottle. And if they didn't leave the bottle...
Bravo! Well, that's very good, Richard. That usually works out very good. I think that's pretty good. He's 7 years old. Here's a tickler for you from Miss Claire Moser of Covington, Kentucky. The hands of a watch stand at 11 o'clock. 48 hours later, how many times will the minute hand have passed the hour hand? Joel?
8 hours later, it would have passed, at 12 o'clock, it would have passed it once, and so on, until at 8 hours later, it would have passed it 6 times.
Well, we're talking about 48 hours later.
Oh, wait a second. Pardon me. Then it passed, the minute hand had passed the hour hand 26 times.
No.
I mean, 22 times.
No. 48 hours later, the hands of a watch stand at 11 o'clock, and 48 hours later, how many times will the minute hand have passed the hour hand? Rennie?
24 times.
No, I'm sorry. Joel?
46 times.
No. Ronnie?
47 times.
No, I'm wondering if you kids are guessing at this. You can work it out, you know. Lonnie?
Well, in the first place, the hour hand would pass, the minute hand would pass the hour hand in, if it's at 11 o'clock, the hour hand is at 11, and the minute hand is at 12. Well, the next hour, it would pass at exactly 12 o'clock, and...
So, 48 hours later, how many times will the minute hand have passed the hour hand? Joel?
Well, between 11 and 12, it would pass it at 12 o'clock, and then later, between the 1 and the 2, it would pass it. That would be twice. And between the 2 and the 3, it would pass it again, and the 3 and the 4, it would pass it again, and also between the 5 and 6, and so far. So the first 12 hours, it would, up to the 11, it would pass it, it would pass it 11 times. And then in the next 12 hours, it would pass it 11 times.
So?
So listen. In the next 12 hours, it would pass it between 11 and 12, and then the 12 and the 1, and around again 11 times. That would make it 22.
Yeah.
And then the third time, it would make it 33, but the fourth time, it wouldn't go past it because it'd be just up to it. Would you count it passing it at the 11 o'clock when it was just up to it?
Well, no.
Then it would be 43 times.
No, wait just a minute. No, that's... all right, Joe.
44 times.
44 times, that's right, absolutely right. That's really... that was a toughie, believe me. Ruth E. Schaefer of Sayreville, New Jersey, wants to turn the subject matter to a more serious vein in order to talk about violinists. She says that there are 3 famous violinists whose first names end in S-C-H-A. Shuck. And she wants you to get 2 of them. Lonnie?
Misha Elman.
Misha Elman, that's 1. Joel?
Yasha Heifetz.
Yasha Heifetz, that's 2. Can you give me the... there's a 3rd one. We only need 2, but there's another one. Well, it's Tasha Seidel. And now, Bob Murphy with a one-act dramatic type feature.
Scene 1, the family living room. Time, right now. The cast, 1 homemaker known as Mother, and 1 sample of small fry, alias Junior. It is the happy American home. Or is it? Curtain.
Mom, turn on the radio. I'm late. Junior, you almost broke that lamp. How many times have I told you not to slam that door? And don't you dare turn on that radio.
But, Mom, I got to hear the quiz kids.
I can't help it, dear. Mother has a nervous headache, and I simply can't stand any noise.
Mom, please. Can't I turn it on low even?
Well, all right, but very softly.
Mothers, if a nerve-wracking day has left you with a miserable nervous headache, Alka-Seltzer is just what you want for relief. Yes, Alka-Seltzer can bring you soothing comfort and fast.
Mom, he's talking about you.
To ease up that headache, just try an Alka-Seltzer, then glance at the clock, and you'll be amazed to find out how fast Alka-Seltzer can ease up the headache that's making you feel cross and miserable. Now, I hope you bought your extra package of Alka-Seltzer yesterday, so you won't find your tablets all gone right now when you need Alka-Seltzer's fast relief. Remember, an extra package on the side keeps your household well supplied. That's good advice, and if you heed it, you'll always have Alka-Seltzer when you need it.
Gosh, Mom, how did Mr. Murphy know you had a headache?
I don't know, dear, but I could kiss you for turning on the radio. Now, you get Mother a glass of water, please, while I get the Alka-Seltzer.
Cut curtain. And the moral is, of course, folks, don't turn the radio off when I bring you the Alka-Seltzer commercial.
Bob, I promise I never will. And now we have a few more questions to wrap up Quiz Kids. Suppose all the travelers now heading for vacation spots in this country decided to visit places whose names matched their business. For example, a wrestler might head for Niagara Falls. You get the idea? Well, Robert J. Schmidt of Moline, Illinois, wants to know where these people might go. A watch manufacturer. What town would he go to? It might be apropos for his particular line of business. A watch manufacturer. There's a town not so very far away from Chicago where he might go. Would be a good town, Rennie?
Might it be Elgin?
Elgin, that's the idea. Now we're getting places. Can you think of any other towns? A watch manufacturer. Where else might he go? Lonnie?
Could go to the Atlantic Coast, Tick.
Atlantic Coast, Tick.
Tick-tock.
Oh, that's good. That's a dandy. And can we think of any more? Any more? All right. How about a locksmith? Where might he go? What town? Lonnie?
Lockport.
Lockport, that's right. That's a good one. Can we think of any others? A locksmith. Lonnie?
Key West.
Key West? Now we're really traveling. Can you think of any others? All right, how about a mathematician? Mathematician. Where might he go on his vacation? Mathematician. Rennie?
I'm not sure. It just something struck me. Isn't there some place called Division? I think it's somewhere in the east. I'm not sure.
Division? There could be, Rennie.
I think so. I couldn't tell you where it is or anything. It just struck a familiar ring.
Well, that's a very good answer. Let's see if we can think up a couple more. A mathematician. He's going on his vacation. He's going to pick out a town that sounds something like mathematics or... Well, of course, he could go to, Rennie?
Well, he could go to Lula Falls in Virginia.
He could, that's right. That's very good. And, can you think of any more? Of course, he could go to Times Square or the Pentagon Building in Washington or the Great Divide. Those are all on my card here. I didn't make those up myself. Rennie?
Or right here in Chicago, he could go over to one of the quadrangles.
That's right.
University of Chicago, that is.
That's right, he could. All right, well, that takes care of that question. Now, Mrs. Lena Bradish of Puyallup, Washington, says that she's been a listener to you quiz kids since you first went on the air. Just as she has learned to know all of her closest friends through their voices alone, she feels close to you because for 17 years she has been blind. So, addressing you as her friends, she would like to hear you quote the Bible verse that means most to you. Joel?
The 23rd Psalm, it begins like this. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me lie down in green patches. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He leadeth me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me.
Fine, Joel. And, Taff?
Mine is in Matthew 22:21.
Right.
And it says, render unto Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and unto God the things that are God's. And Jesus said that when the Pharisees were trying to trick him into saying that nobody should give any tribute money to Caesar.
Well, that's a very fine selection. And, Rennie?
Well, I like the whole chapter of the whole 13th chapter of 1 Corinthians, but I'll just say the first two verses and the last one. And that is, though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, and have not charity, I am become as a sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. And though I have the gift of prophecy, and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and have all faith that I may remove mountains, and have not charity, I am nothing. And then it ends, and now abide these three, faith, hope, and charity. But the greatest of these is charity.
Thank you, Rennie. Lonnie?
Well, I like Psalm 119, the 105th verse. Thy word is a light unto my feet, or a lamp unto my feet, and a light unto my path.
All right. And, Richard, how about you, son?
I like 1 John, 4th chapter, 8th verse. He that loveth not knoweth not God, for God is love.
Thank you, Richard. Well, I guess that's the last question for today on account of the school bell says so. And so you quiz kids chalk up another excellent school session to your credit. And now it's time for the judges to make out your report cards and let us know which three quiz kids earned the honor of a return bout next week. And while the judges add up scores, it is my pleasure to introduce our guest observer today, President Emeritus of Vassar College and one of the country's leading educators, Dr. Henry Noble McCracken.
First of all, I should like to commend you and your sponsor for conducting one of the most entertaining and educational programs in radio. You quiz kids have proved many times how well they know their country's history, and I'm sure that they recall how vital to our early advancement was the phrase, united we stand, divided we fall. Let's not forget it now, when some misguided or scheming people are trying to divide Americans by appeals to racial or religious prejudice. If we let them succeed, what a sorry picture we should make before other peoples in the United Nations, whom we are trying to show that democracy will work. Racial and religious prejudices are roadblocks obstructing the orderly advance of democracy. How can we remove these roadblocks? Well, let's begin with ourselves. Let's recognize that our neighbors have a right to a different color or creed. Let's get along with our neighbors as neighbors. Let's refuse to listen to or spread stories based solely on prejudice against creed or color. That isn't too difficult. All we need is a little more self-control, a little more courage. Just remember, united we stand, divided we fall.
Thank you, Dr. McCracken. It was a privilege to have you on our Quiz Kids program. And now I know you listeners, and especially you quiz kids, are anxious to know the judge's verdict. They tell me that our whole class, they didn't miss any questions. Lonnie was first, Pat second, and Rennie third. You three will be back in school next week, and your competition will be Ruthie Duskin, age 13, and John Pollock, age 12. This is Joe Kelly dismissing the Quiz Kids class until the same time next week. Goodbye, kids.
Goodbye, Mr. Kelly.
Oh, Aunt Mandy, is dinner ready?
Yes, and it sure is, and I got a good hot weather meal. I've got chicken salad, sliced tomatoes, potato salad, deviled eggs, and iced tea. Ain't that scrumptious?
Sounds swell. But put the one-a-day vitamin bottle on the table.
Yes, too often meals that we like to eat are short on vitamins. Lack of vitamins in your food can cause you to feel nervous, irritable, and under par. But here's how you can be sure of your vitamins.
Take one-a-day brand multiple vitamin capsule every day.
Lack of vitamins can make you feel tired and dragged out.
Take one-a-day brand multiple vitamin capsule every day.
At your drugstore, look for the figure 1 on the blue package.
Take one-a-day brand multiple vitamin capsule every day.
Listen to the Quiz Kids every week and to Alka-Seltzer's News of the World every Monday through Friday over most of these NBC stations. This is Bob Murphy speaking.
This is NBC, the national broadcasting company.
Mutual Broadcasting System presents The Family Theater, starring Loretta Young and Don Amici, with Jimmy Stewart as your host.
More things are wrought by prayer than this world dreams of.
Good evening. This is Jimmy Stewart. Tonight, the Family Theater stars Loretta Young and Don Amici. You know, since this is our first program, maybe we ought to have a dedication. So right now, let's dedicate the Family Theater to your family, with the hope that families everywhere will always be together, and that your home will be a happy one, with the conviction that prayer, simple prayer, will help to keep it that way. Now, maybe you're thinking this is sort of an odd way to start a series of radio programs from Hollywood with movie stars, actors, and musicians. And maybe you're wondering what it's all about. Well, why don't you just sit back and listen? Listen to the music of Meredith Willson's orchestra and listen to our story. It's called Flight from Home, a story written by True Boardman and starring Don Amici and Loretta Young.
Hello?
Mary?
Oh, yes, Nora.
We're just leaving. We'll be there in less than half an hour to take you to the train.
All right, I'm all ready.
Still packing?
No, as a matter of fact, I'm writing a letter.
Oh?
But I'll be ready when you get here.
All right.
Goodbye, Nora. Dear Jim, I don't pretend even to myself that this letter can make any difference. What we said last night before you left was final and definite, I know that. Within an hour, Nora and Charlie are coming to drive me to the train that will take me home to Cleveland. home. It's funny that after 6 years I should suddenly be thinking again of Cleveland as home. But what does one do while one waits those last minutes before she says goodbye to a lifetime? I don't know. I only know I feel impelled to put it down in black and white. Perhaps then the separate pieces will make some pattern that has sense and order. Perhaps seeing it like that will help me, and you, if you ever read this letter, to somehow understand it all. As I say, I don't know, but I have to try. I'm sitting now by the front window that faces over the river. The day is perfect, and you can see all the way to the hills across the valley. And as I look out now, one object holds my eyes and my thoughts. It's something you built for me, Jim, with your own hands, and showed me so proudly the day we arrived here from our honeymoon. The day that was really the beginning.
Okay, Mrs. Matthews, your mansion awaits. All out?
Oh, Jim, this is the Star Island place.
Oh, you don't tell me.
Oh, but Jim, we agreed on that little house near the university, the place on Elm Street.
That shack for the wife of a man who in 2 years will be head of the university research lab? Oh, couldn't think of it.
Oh.
Come on.
But, darling, we agreed. We talked it all over and decided,
And
remember?
I decided you should have a place worthy of you. Mary, wait. Before we go inside, there's something here in the garden you didn't see before.
What is it?
Come on. In here. Well?
Oh, Jim. Oh, darling, it's...
You see, the house was already built and furnished, and I wanted the place to have something I had made myself. Just for you.
Oh, darling.
And what better for a girl I couldn't even get to see for the first 3 months I knew her unless I went to church 4 times a week.
You? I went to church to see you.
What do you mean? Your mother told me you practically lived down at that church before you ever saw Jim Matthews.
Oh, Jim, if I didn't already love you more than any man deserves, this shrine you built for me would... Oh, Jim, I'm so happy I'm scared.
Hey, now, take it easy. You know where I got the idea for the shrine? That trip I took around the world. On an island in the Indies I visited. Each family has its own shrine outside the house.
They do?
Uh-huh. Guarantees every newly married couple fair weather, good crops, and at least 14 children.
14?
Well, 13.
Oh, all right.
Come on, let's go inside the house.
Darling.
Huh?
Before we go in, could we dedicate our shrine?
Oh, it has been. The moment it was finished. By a fella I know.
Oh. And what did this fella say?
Oh, he said something like, "Thanks, Lord, for what I know is going to be a fine marriage. Thanks for Mary understanding about my work and taking the job at the lab here because it means more freedom and authority, even though I could earn more money for it somewhere else. Thanks for this house, and above all, may it be blessed with children, and may every one of them look like their mother."
Oh.
That was all. You have anything to add?
Yes, just one thing.
What?
Thanks, dear Lord, for Jim. And help me to be the wife that he deserves. And if it be your will, let there be children, all just like their father. Amen. All right, darling. Let's go inside. That was the beginning, Jim. Such a rich and warm and happiness-filled beginning that I forgot all about your overruling our agreement as to the house we'd buy. There was fun for us in those first months that so quickly became years. Such fun that, well, I wonder now how and when we first began to lose it. I only know that suddenly we were aware that there were 2 shadows across our life together. We had no child, and it began to seem we weren't ever going to have one. That was one shadow. And the other, well, you felt you'd received no recognition at the lab for all the work that you'd done. And then, just before our 4th anniversary, there was a night when it all seemed perfect again. We were alone, and you were helping me in the kitchen.
Gosh, 2 people can dirty an awful lot of dishes.
You don't have to help me with them, Jim. You're tired.
Who's tired? I only played 7 sets.
Oh, excuse me. I forgot I was married to the original Iron Man.
What do you think of the new man? Well, I played singles with.
Oh, Mr. Michaels? Why, he's all right. Oh.
He's the old man's new pet. former student of his.
So?
So some people think the old man might decide to make him director of the research lab when Professor Kenny retires this fall.
Oh, Jim, he couldn't. You've worked hard for that directorship. You deserve it.
Don't worry, the old man knows that. In fact, he said something about it this afternoon.
Oh.
Looks good.
Jim? Jim, what would you do if Michaels did get that appointment over your head?
Nothing. Just blow the roof off the lab and the old man, that's all.
Yeah, and I'd help you. Jim, by the way, I went to see Dr. Peters this morning.
Why?
Oh, nothing important. Just to make sure whether or not we were going to have a baby. We are. Hand me the platter there.
Here.
Where's this young Michaels from, Jim?
Pittsburgh. How soon?
December, maybe January. You know, he's quite handsome.
Yeah. Doc say you're all right?
Perfect.
Swell. You know, it's funny. People make such a to-do over this baby business. In the movies, the girl always has moonlight, soft music when she tells her husband he's supposed to faint or something.
No, that's when he's born. Here's the platter, and be careful.
But take us. We're washing dishes. Matter of fact, just conversation. Nobody excited, nobody nervous, nobody...
Look out!
Oh, Mary. Mary, darling.
Jim, I'm so happy. Jim, this time it's really true. Oh, thank heaven, it's really true. Those months that followed, Jim, for those months I will always be grateful. Our life had purpose again, and it was beautiful and complete. And you were as proud as if you'd personally invented the idea of parenthood. And then that night, that one horrible, unforgettable night. Oh, my darling, if only that storm could have happened a week before or later or any time, but when it did... But it didn't, Jim. It happened then. At perhaps the most crucial moment of our lives.
Yes, Dr. Peters, of course you're right. She shouldn't drive in this storm. Oh, I'm positive she does. Yes, right here. Here, Mary, he wants to talk to you.
All right.
He's definitely sending another doctor.
Oh, yes, all right. Hello, Doctor. Yeah, fine time I pick. Helpful Mary, that's me. Oh, yes, of course I understand. You're right. Yes, of course it's safer in this storm. Oh, certainly, as long as you recommend him. But just so it makes it in time. Oh, no, I haven't been able to find Jim anywhere. And, Doctor, I'm worried about him. He should have been home 2 hours ago. Now, Doctor, look, you know I'm not alone. I called Nora, and she came right over. Now, don't you worry about me. I'm going to be all right. And don't forget, I bet you it's a girl. Now, you say it's a boy. It's still a boy, huh? Nora, Dr. Peters said... Oh, Nora.
Hold on, honey, hold on. That one was 18 minutes.
Nora, the front door. Jim, is that you? Oh, Jim, I'm so glad you're here.
Hi, Mary. Hi, Nora.
Oh, darling, where have you been? Jim.
Bill? I've been celebrating. All by myself, all afternoon. I got some news for you. Michaels got that assignment as director of the lab. Pretty boy Michaels is now my new boss. Ray.
Oh, Jim.
Jim, Mary's needed you. The baby.
What about it? You mean...
Yes, Jim, yes. But I'm all right now that you're here. We called Dr. Peters, and he can't leave the hospital, so he's sending a doctor here. But he doesn't want me driving to the hospital in this storm.
Well, it's ridiculous. Of course you're going to the hospital. There's time, isn't there?
Oh, I suppose so, but Dr. Peters
Jim,
said...
that's crazy. The doctor specifically
And
said...
I say she's going to the hospital. We'll have no home delivery with some doctor we don't know. You're having the best, Mary. You hear me? Jim Matthews' wife is having the best there is. No storm or anything else is going to prevent it either.
Jim, please slow down. I'm sure we'll get there in time. And I'm all right, dear. But please, take it easy.
I know what I'm doing.
Jim, are you sure I shouldn't drive? I can, you know.
Don't be ridiculous.
I'm terribly sorry about the appointment, dear. You should have had it. Jim, please slow down.
Oh, be quiet, Mary. I had a few drinks, sure. What of it? Stop sounding as though I'm...
Jim, look out! Jim!
right, Jim. But the child, I'm sorry. There was nothing I could do.
I see.
You should never have tried to drive in through that storm.
You suppose I don't know that now? Doctor, what about other children for us later?
There are many children already born who need adoption, son. I'm sorry. You better go in to Mary.
Mary.
Jim.
Mary.
Jim, we lost our... Jim, our baby's dead.
Dr. Peters couldn't save him. You must know this. Except for the accident, you both would have been all right.
Oh.
Except for the accident.
Oh, Jim. Jim, listen to me.
I'll let you rest now. I'll leave you alone.
Oh, no, Jim, don't do that. Jim, wait a minute. Listen. But you didn't wait and you didn't listen. Then, or in the many times in the weeks and months to come when I tried to talk to you about that night. I told you I forgave you, but you just smiled at me as though you heard, but you didn't believe me. So our marriage went on. But actually it wasn't any marriage at all. We were two people who lived in a single house 1,000 miles apart. We both changed, Jim. I'm afraid I grew a little bitter in my unhappiness, and you... Well, other people, too, began to worry about you. There was the day Professor Ahrens came to see me from the university. The old man, as you always called him.
And I assure you, Mrs. Matthews, I try never to interfere with the private lives of my staff members. But I'm worried about Jim. He goes on working, yes, but with such an attitude. He was the best project man I had. That's why I kept him free, unhampered by staff responsibilities. But lately, well, I've tried to talk to him, and his only response is he'll resign if I'm not satisfied. Now, I don't want that, Mrs. Matthews. I want Jim. But I want the old Jim, not a man who brings his mind to the laboratory and whose heart is left somewhere else.
We talked, Jim, when we saw each other, but we might as well have used different languages. And then I thought perhaps I'd found an answer. That afternoon 3 months ago, I persuaded you to go with Nora and Charlie to the Children's Foundling Home on the pretense that they were thinking of adopting a child. And when we came home that night, you were more yourself than I'd seen you in months. There was one child in particular had impressed you.
Mary, did you notice that girl, a little older than the others? Kid with the turned-up nose and long yellow hair?
Why, yes, wasn't her name Joan?
Yeah, that's it. Any chance of Nora and Charlie taking her?
Did you like her?
Me?
Uh-huh.
Well, sure. How can you not like a kid in a spot like that?
Well, I mean, did you like Joan particularly? Did you, Jim?
So that's it.
Yes, that's it.
Nora and Charlie had no intention of adopting a kid.
No, Jim, no, they didn't. But I thought about it and prayed about it for an awfully long time, and I honestly think that a child is the answer, Jim. Maybe our life is, well, as it is, because it's too shallow.
Yeah, I thought of that, too.
Oh, darling. Darling, do let us investigate. Let us talk to them at the home. Let's start to think about it seriously, huh?
What's there to think about? If you want it that way, go ahead.
Oh, Jim!
And the first thing we'll do is cut that kid's hair.
Oh, darling! 3 months. 3 months leading up to yesterday. 3 months of interviews with the adoption board and visits to the home, and fixing the den over for room for Joan. 3 months of planning. 3 wonderful months of living again. And then yesterday, the finale to it all. Little Joan, happy and eager and frightened all at the same time in her new home.
And it's not that I'm exactly afraid, but I just never slept in a room by myself. Anyway, not since I remember.
Well, I understand, Joan. And until you get used to it, I'll come in here each night and lie down with you until you're asleep. How's that? You can tell me stories, huh?
That'll be fine, Mother. Should I call you Mother or Mary?
Oh, whichever you wish. It'll just work out, you'll see.
And what about...
Jim? Oh, we'll talk to him about that, shall we?
Where is he? You said we should expect him at 3 o'clock. It's almost 5.
Well, maybe his train's late. You know, he's been on a trip.
Are you sure he'll be glad to see me?
Oh, Joan. Jim and I talked you over for a long time. He'll be glad.
Why did he take me instead of one of the teensy kids? Most folks who came to the home took the little babies. I'd about given up hope on account of I'm so old.
Why, honey. Oh, honey, age has nothing to do with it. You were the little girl our home needed to make it complete.
I'm sure glad.
Mary.
There he is. I'm in here, Jim, in the den.
Mary, I wanted to...
Hello, Mr. Matthews. I'm here.
Mary, didn't you get my wire?
Your wire? Oh, no, dear. The phone's been out. And you know how they are about deliveries now.
Mary, I've got to talk to you.
Jim,
Mother, do you want me to go outside for a little while?
Yes, honey. Do you mind? We'll be out in a few minutes.
All right. I'll stay where you can call me.
All right, dear. What did the telegram say, Jim?
Oh, you must have gotten it. And you went ahead anyway.
No, I didn't. I went ahead. Oh, so you've changed your mind.
No. I made it up. I had time to think during this trip. And I decided once and for all. I'm late now because I stopped at the lab. I've resigned. I'm leaving here, Mary. Here. It's a deed to the house and a power of attorney if you want to sell it before the final arrangements are worked out. I left most of the money in the joint account. Here's the book.
You seem to have thought of everything.
I'm sorry about little Joan. But perhaps you'll keep her yourself.
Why, you know that isn't possible. They wouldn't let me.
This adoption idea was crazy for us, and you know it. More's wrong with our marriage and not having a child in the house. What's wrong is wrong with me.
Well, Jim, if you know that, why don't you do something about it?
Your trouble is, Mary, that you're still in love with a dream. And it was a dream. I'm what I am now. So let me go.
All right, Jim, all right. Go on, run. Go on and keep on running for the rest of your life, from me and from your job and from yourself. Oh, Jim. Jim, if I could only make you see things the way...
You think I don't? You want the whole truth, Mary? We've never faced that, have we? Well, we will now. 2 years ago, I killed our baby.
Jim, that's not...
I killed our baby and made it certain that we'd never have another one.
Oh.
Try living with that in the back of your mind, Mary. Take it to work with you day after day. See it there in the eyes of your wife every time you look at her.
That isn't true.
Try lying in bed night after night, reliving that crash 1,000 times. You there in the street and in the rain. Not even crying in your pain. Just saying over and over to me, it's all right, Jim. I'll be all right. And the baby will live. The baby didn't live.
Oh, Jim. Jim, why can't it be simple? Why can't I just put my arms around you and say I love you, dear, and I'll always love you, and that'll be all the answer? But it isn't. Our only chance is for me to try to make you see it all as I do, Jim.
No, Mary, I'm going.
Now, Jim, listen to me. Listen, please. Jim, what happened that night 2 years ago was an accident. A single accident for which no one is responsible.
It won't do, Mary. We were on that road for one reason. The selfish pride of the man you call your husband. Pride that wouldn't let him have his child born here at home when he could be important by rushing you to the hospital. The same pride that even at the start of our marriage made me buy a bigger and better house than the one we'd agreed on together. The same pride that couldn't take the blow of Michael's being named director and sent me to a bar to get drunk when you needed me more than ever before in our life together.
Jim, if these things are true, or if you feel they are, what answer is it now to run away? Why don't you face them, Jim, and accept them? Face them in honesty and humility and stop running away, darling. Oh, Jim, remember that poem you used to read to me? You said it was your favorite, The Hound of Heaven, remember? Remember it, Jim? I fled him down the nights and down the days. Remember? Jim.
I fled him down the nights and down the days. I fled him down the arches of the years. I fled him down the labyrinthine ways of my own mind. And in the mist of tears, I hid from him.
Why, you're that man, Jim. You're fleeing from your own faith. You're fleeing from your own forgiveness, Jim.
Some things are beyond forgiveness.
What things? Did our Lord ever say that? Oh, my darling, you know better if you'll just admit it to yourself. Oh, can't you see there is forgiveness if you'll just break through this wall you built and accept it, Jim? All right, darling. Go on now if you must. But go on out and find yourself. Go out and walk and pray. Pray with all your heart, Jim. But, darling, if you can do that, I know you'll get back to me and to our life together.
It's no use, Mary. I tell you, it's no use.
Jim. Jim. Oh, dear God, help him. Help him. And help me to live without him. If that's the way it's got to be. So it ended, Jim. You turned and walked out into the night, and it was over. There it is, the whole story. I said that putting in a letter might help me to understand, but it doesn't. I only know that I still love you as I shall never love another human being. And that when you went out of that door, a part of myself went with you. What's left, I don't care very much about. There's a car in the driveway, Jim, and that means that Nora and Charlie are here for me. So I must finish this quickly, Jim. Oh, is that you, Nora? I'll be with you in a minute. I'm just finishing my letter. Nora?
Hello, Mother.
What? Joan, honey. Joan, how did you get here?
I didn't run away and come back here, if that's what you mean. Somebody brought me.
Somebody... Who?
He says he wants to talk to you, please, outside. He says you'll know where.
Yes, of course. Of course I do.
Hello, Mary.
Hello, Jim.
I got as far as the train last night, but I kept hearing those words. I started walking. I must have walked all night. But you were right. I fled him down the nights and down the days. And all of a sudden, there was no place I could go. Once the walls I built were down...
Oh, darling, welcome home.
I am home, Mary.
Oh.
Really home.
I know, Jim. And, Jim, I'm going to help you all I can.
And I'll need your help.
Oh.
I asked for my job back this morning as Michael's assistant.
Oh, I know you won't be sorry, Jim. I know you won't.
I see a lot of things I wouldn't face before. The work I can do is a lot more important than whatever title they want to give me. Our child is dead. I can't change that. But there are lots of kids, like Joan, who could use the love we have to give.
Oh, darling, you do see.
Mother?
Oh, yes, Joan. Come on in, honey.
Oh, can I? I mean, may I?
Of course you may.
This is our family shrine, Joan. And after all, you're part of the family now. A very important part.
Thank you, Loretta Young and Dawn Amici. You know, I thought maybe you folks would like to know why we call this program Family Theater. Well, I'll tell you. Because it's the most important thing in the world. Our most precious possession is our family. We all want our family to be happy, sure, but, well, sometimes going gets pretty tough. Sickness, bills, accidents, which make it almost too much for a man and his wife to handle. You ever feel that way? You know, you don't know where to turn for help. And because you're upset and worried, you get irritable and wango. The whole family seems to sort of fall apart, and you're positive there's nothing you can do to prevent it. But just stop and think a minute. Maybe you're overlooking something. Maybe there's a way you can get help. The most powerful help a man could ask for. But you've got to ask for it. And how do you ask